The school beauty had just had a massive fight with me, but the very next day, I vanished. From that day on, it was as if I had completely faded from her life. Like that. Neither our classmates nor our teachers knew where I had gone. It wasn't until she went all the way to my house that she found out my family had already moved away. In the end, having run out of options, she tearfully begged her father to use his connections at the police station to look up my national ID information. But the response they got back was that there was no such person. At that moment, Lin Qing had only one thought in her head. The boy she loved so deeply was dead. For the past 3 years, she had always believed that. 3 years later, I returned after successfully completing a national scientific research mission, learning that Lin Qing was currently a sophomore at Jingdu University to make up for her high school regrets. Even though I was more than qualified to be a professor, and at Huaqing University, I chose to join Jingdu University instead, becoming a freshman at the school. At the welcoming booth for new students of the Economics and Management Department, Lin Qing was sitting calmly on a chair in the reception area. Just by sitting there quietly, she already attracted a lot of attention. Qingshu, you really live up to your reputation as the universally acknowledged #1 campus belle of our Jingda. Look at those younger freshmen who just arrived. The moment they saw you, their eyes glued right onto you. I bet that once this registration period ends, who knows how many of those younger boys you will go around campus trying to dig up information about you. Just ignore them. Besides, I don't have any interest in romance or anything like that. Compared to going on dates with these guys, going with you to the banks of Viming Lake to catch the night breeze, or hitting the snack street for some late-night food. Isn't that way more romantic than love? But, as soon as those words left her mouth, the light in Lin Qingshui's eyes dimmed with a hint of sadness. Going to Weiming Lake to enjoy the breeze, going to the snack street outside the North Gate for barbecue, or going to the university library together to study, and then skipping class to watch him play in the school's basketball tournament. Those words were exactly what she had said to that boy years ago. It was just a shame that on today's campus, among the countless students walking back and forth, although there were some who had eyes like his, a nose like his, or even a similar way of speaking, they were still ultimately not him. Li Qian noticed the melancholy in Lin Qingshui's eyes and felt worried. Qingshui, you aren't still hung up on your boyfriend who passed away 3 years ago, are you? Her roommates pretty much knew about Lin Qingshui's innocent high school romance. Whether it was puppy love or a secret crush during their youth, everyone went through it. But even if she was mourning, those 3 years had already passed. Even if she was keeping a 3-year mourning period, that time had already passed. Why? Not try starting a new chapter? Lin Qingshui understood Li Qian's good intentions and offered a carefree smile. Actually, it's not that I'm still hung up on him. It's just that right now, I still can't bring myself to like anyone else. Lin Qingshui took Li Qian's hand. All right, don't just stand here daydreaming. At this hour, the freshmen should all be arriving. Why don't you hurry over to the front gate to welcome them? Who knows? Maybe our department will have some handsome freshmen this year who catch your eye. That makes sense. With that, she quickly left the welcoming desk. Once she left for the front gate to welcome the freshmen, Lin Qingshui let out a sigh of relief. With a soft sigh, her slightly reddened eyes blinked rapidly. It was as if she had drifted back to those school days, napping during math class, passing secret notes during literature class, and using study hall to copy down song lyrics. A time when even a 10-minute break was long enough to dream a beautiful dream. Time flew by so fast. A gentle summer breeze blew past, messing up a few stray locks of her hair. Lin Qingshui looked up slightly, a sudden look of melancholy crossing her face. If only you were still here, then how wonderful it would be. Standing in front of the gates of Capital University, I held my suitcase and looked up at the majestic school gates in front of me. In my mind, which had long been peaceful and still, a sudden wave of emotion unexpectedly welled up. My silent departure, without saying goodbye back then, must have left her completely heartbroken. I took a deep breath and slowly walked inside. After walking just a few steps, Li Qian, who was wearing a volunteer armband to welcome new students, enthusiastically walked up to me. Hey there, freshman, which department are you in? I'm a volunteer helping new students register. Let me show you where to do the paperwork. I'm in the Department of Economics and Management. Coincidentally, not very familiar with the place either, so I'll have to trouble you, senior. No trouble at all. What a coincidence. I'm also in the Department of Economics and Management. That means you're my junior. In the same department, Li Qian reached out, offering to carry my suitcase. Let me take your suitcase. I'll take you over there to register. I quietly and tactfully pulled my suitcase. Back a bit. That's all right. The stuff inside is quite heavy, so I can carry it myself. Li Qian didn't insist. She gave a bright, friendly smile. All right then. Just follow me closely. With that, Li Qian led me toward the registration desk for new students on campus. After walking a few steps, I looked up and asked her, since you're a senior in our Department of Economics and Management, I wanted to ask, do you happen to know Senior Lin Qingshu? Li Qian immediately nodded, her eyes filled with teasing amusement. Of course I do. You're quite well informed for a freshman, aren't you? You've barely set foot on campus, and you're already asking about our department's most beautiful campus belle. Are you interested in our famous Lin family belle too? Senior Lin and I went to the same high school. Actually, she's the reason why I chose the Department of Economics and Management at Capital University. Is greater than, music is greater than. Li Qian was slightly surprised. She quickly gave me an I get it look. Coming here because of her reputation, huh? You? Youngsters these days are really something else. But since you two went to the same high school, you must have heard all the stories about your senior Lin. I was slightly stunned. In my memory, Lin Qingshui had always been a top student in high school. Aside from titles like School Belle and Straight A Student, I really didn't know if she had any other stories. Did always coming in second in our entire grade count? Because the person who always came in first was me. Just then, the phone in my pocket suddenly rang. I looked at Li Qian apologetically. Excuse me, I need to take this. With that, I lifted the phone and answered, Professor Liu. It's Xiao Yu. Professor Liu was a faculty member at Capital University. Although he wasn't very old, he had already become one of the country's most prestigious professors in microelectronics and physical electronics. Currently, he was the executive dean in charge of scientific research at the School of Electronic Information at Capital University. During my 3 years at the scientific research base, I had relied on my professional knowledge to convincing a whole lineup of prestigious domestic professors, as well as many professors in the other specialized fields, while also building up quite a substantial network of connections. Then, the hearty voice of a middle-aged man came through the phone. Chief Engineer Chu, I am truly sorry. According to our original plan, I was supposed to be at the school gate to welcome you for enrollment, but something suddenly went wrong with a high-level project. They needed me to come lend a hand, so right now I'm not in the capital. I'm truly sorry. Please don't worry about it. The higher-up project is what's most important. I'm completely fine, sir. Right now, I'm preparing to go through the enrollment process. Still, I just can't wrap my head around it. With your level of scientific research, you are more than qualified to advise PhD students. So why on earth do you suddenly want to go to college? Chief Engineer Chu, my offer still stands. Whenever you make up your mind, I can immediately submit a report to the higher-ups to appoint you as an honorary professor of our capital university. If you want to teach, we can even create a completely new major just for you. If you lead the class, I promise you, the benefits we offer will definitely be much better than what Huaqing University next door can give you. Previously, when I was at the research base, I was already a highly sought-after prize in the eyes of various university deans. But back then, I was solely focused on breaking through lithography technology. Those deans didn't dare to have any designs on me in that regard. Now that the research is complete, based on my achievements, I should at least be appointed as an academician of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. A young academician, like me, would be fought over by everyone, no matter where I went. Since I've already come to Capital University, they naturally won't let me leave. Let's talk about this later. Sir, please just let me rest for a while. All right, I'm about to check. In here. You're quite busy too, so I won't trouble you any further. All right. Go ahead and register first then. Even though I'm not on campus at the moment, if you run into any issues in your daily life, just call me directly. Okay, once you're back in the capital, I'll definitely come pay you a visit. I hung up the phone. This was where the freshman registration was set up. Li Qian looked around, only to find that Lin Qingshu, who was supposed to be sitting at the reception desk, had suddenly disappeared. She hurried over to the others and asked, Where is Qingshu? I just brought over a freshman from her hometown. Everyone laughed and said, Campus Beauty Lynn said it's too hot today, and staying out here all day is exhausting, so she's treating us to bubble tea. She's picking it up right now. Li Qian felt a bit disappointed, turning her head to look at me. I'm so sorry, Junior. Your senior sister had something urgent come up, so you won't be able to meet her just yet. I smiled and nodded. It's fine. We have plenty of time ahead of us. We'll definitely have a chance to meet. What class are you in? Freshman class, one of the School of Economics and Management. Senior. In that case, you're in luck. Qingshu and I are both student advisors for your freshman class 1. Tomorrow, during the freshman class meeting, you'll be able to meet her. Go ahead and register first. I nodded slightly, then walked over to the small registration desk for the School of Economics and Management. The two of them cross-checked my admission letter, found my name on the freshman list, and after I signed, I received my dorm key and student ID card. A senior walked over to me. Junior, you've got all your things? Let me take you to your dorm first then. Once you get to the dorm, drop off your luggage first. Then you can head over to the supervisor's office near the gate to pick up your bedding and some daily essentials. I gave a slight nod, then followed the sophomore senior toward the male dorms of the business management department. Not long after I left, Lam Thon Tuyet arrived at the business management registration desk with a group of people. Lai Thien immediately rushed over to Lam Thon Tuyet. Thon Tuyet, your timing is terrible. Let me tell you. This year, our department has an incredibly handsome guy with an amazing aura. Plus, he even said he went to the same high school as you. I bet this freshman junior of ours is definitely here for you. Lam Thon Tuyet smiled helplessly. Stop it, will you? Music. I'm not really looking to date right now. I'm not saying you have to date him, but he's still a freshman junior from your hometown. You should at least show him some guidance. As luck would have it, he's in class 1 too. You'll see him at the freshman orientation tomorrow. His name is So Tiu Vu. So, does that ring a bell for this junior? That question from Li Thien made Lam Thon Tuyet's heart skip a beat, and even her voice began to tremble. What did you say? His name was again? His name is So Tiu Vu. Is something wrong? Lam? Thon Tuyet shook her head in slight disappointment, her voice sounding a bit rushed. No, nothing. Which way did he go? Li Thien pointed in the direction I had just left. By the time Lam Thon Tuyet looked over, the backs of me and the sophomore senior had just turned into a small alley. Yet in that split second, Lam Thon Tuyet seemed to see the silhouette of that boy. But a moment later, Lam Thon Tuyet quickly shook her head. No, it's impossible. It must just be a coincidence. During the summer break 3 years ago, he argued with her and said he would never speak to her again. But after calming down for 2 days, he still sent her a message. Yet from that day on, he seemed to vanish completely from her life. Classmates and teachers didn't know where he went, and even his family seemed to have moved away. Even when they checked with the police, his ID information had been completely wiped out. At that moment, a thought suddenly crossed Lam Thon Tuyet's mind, that I had been dead for the past 3 years. She had always been absolutely certain of this. So in her eyes, that silhouette could never be mine. At most, it was just someone with the same name and a similar build. In the end, trembling slightly, Lam Thon Tuyet held back her urge to chase after him. The sophomore senior walked me to the dorm building and left. Following the room number on my key, I pushed open the door to the room where I would spend my college years. Soon after, the other 2 roommates arrived. The 4 of us sorted ourselves by age. Chu Bang Fai was the oldest, Truong Min Duong was the second oldest, I was the third, and Vuong Lei was the youngest. It's not easy for us to all gather here. Since I'm a local and know the area pretty well, how about I treat everyone to a big meal tonight? Chu Bang Fai quickly waved his hand. No treats, let's just split the bill. But since you know the area best, you pick the place. Vuong Lei, and I nodded with a smile. Just then, Vuong Lei's phone chimed with a notification. Is greater than, music, is greater than. He quickly looked down at his screen, then raised his phone and pointed it toward, for us guys. Hey guys, has everyone joined the class group chat yet? The class advisor. Just set up the group chat. There's an announcement saying that our class's assistant advisor this year is Lin Qing Shou. You guys know who Lin Qing Shou is, right? Chu Peng. Fei was the first to react. Wait, for real? Lin Qing Shui is going to be our assistant. Advisor? I slightly furrowed my brow. From the files I had someone look up before, I already knew Lin Qing was extremely famous at Capital University. But I didn't expect her to be this highly sought after. After reading the message in the group, Zhang Mingyang let out a heavy sigh. What a shame, really. As the #1 campus belle of Capital University, our senior Lin has always been completely devoted to that ex-boyfriend of hers who died 3 years ago. Otherwise, just based on her being our assistant, advisor, I would definitely try to win her over. My heart jolted. Had a boyfriend 3 years ago? Zhang Mingyang nodded repeatedly, his face lighting up with gossip. According to the rumors I heard, Lin Qingshui's ex-boyfriend was her desk mate back in 10th grade. But then, unfortunately, he died in an accident. It's such a shame. If they had just broken up, it would be one thing. But since he passed away, I bet the great Lin family beauty won't ever be able to forget that her high school ex-boyfriend of hers for the rest of her life. I froze for a moment. Her desk mate back in 10th grade? I remember. Wasn't Lin Qing's 10th grade desk mata? Me? Since when did I become her ex-boyfriend? Sure, I admit, I did have a bit of a crush on her back then, but before I could even make a move, I was taken away for scientific research, wasn't I? What on earth happened? During the 3 years I was gone? No way. I have to go and ask her to clarify this. With that, I suddenly stood straight up from my chair, instantly drawing the attention of the other 3 in the room. Lao Chu, where are you going, suddenly jumping up like that? Oh, I just remembered I still need some personal care items, so I'm heading to the supermarket near campus to pick up a few things. I couldn't exactly tell them that I was an ex-boyfriend who had been dead for 3 years in their story about Lin Qingshu. Actually, the stuff the school gave us isn't really enough either. I need to buy some things too. Music. Let's go together. Yeah, let's all go. I need to get some stuff too. All right then, let's go together. 3 years have already passed, so there's no need to rush this one extra day. Registration was originally scheduled for the afternoon, so by the time all 4 of us reached the mall near campus and bought all our daily necessities for the dorm room, it was already past 7 in the evening by the time we returned. Once we put everything away and all 4 of us had showered, Zhang Mingyang looked at us and said, "The timing is perfect right now. Let's go walk around campus and grab a late-night snack while we're at it." No problem. Sounds good. Hold on. Let me dry my hair first. Listen up, bros. Don't say I didn't warn you. When it comes to Capital University, we easily beat Huaqing in terms of gorgeous girls. Dress sharp, guys, and who knows? Maybe you'll catch the eye of some pretty girl. Chu Pengfei's eyes lit up. Holy crap, why didn't you say so sooner? I need to change into different clothes. Wang Lei's expression shifted slightly as he yelled over to Zhang Mingyang, second brother, I'm not really good at styling my hair. Can you help me style it in a bit? My lips twitched slightly, and a faint smile gradually appeared in my eyes. Perhaps this is the true essence of youth. I picked up my phone with its screen turned off, checking out my reflection. Still as handsome as ever. No music major. Issues. Meanwhile, over in the girls' dorm, Li Qian walked up to Lin Chu with a smile. Qingshu, what are we having for dinner tonight? Let's hit the cafeteria. I heard there's a new dish on the first floor. The braised pork with tofu skin is supposed to be really good. We just got back to school and you already want to go to the cafeteria? We've been busy all day. Let's head out toward the north gate, take a walk, and see if there's anything good to eat. We can grab some fruit to bring back too. Lin Qingshui immediately gave her a playful glare. I bet you just want to go out to check out the new underclassmen and see Zhang Mingyang. Lin Qingshui turned her head to look at their other 2 roommates. What about you 2? Do you want to go out for a stroll with us? The 2 roommates nodded in agreement. Lin Qing, XU looked up at Li Qian. It feels like we haven't hung out as a dorm since summer break. Our whole room hasn't gone shopping together in a while. Let's go then. After quickly packing up, the 4 guys from room 319 quickly left the boys' dorm. They headed to the snack street at the school's north gate. Around the same time, the group of 4, led by Lin Qingshu, also set out from the girls' dorm. Arriving at the snack street near the north gate, Zhang Mingyang shoved his hands in his pockets and looked at us. Hey guys, this north gate area is the most famous snack street at Jing University. The barbecue spots around here are all pretty solid. Everyone, pick a place. Zhou Pengfei and Wang Lei exchanged a glance, then turned to look at me. What do you think, third bro? I casually glanced around, scanning the nearby barbecue spots, and pointed directly at the closest one. Let's go with this one. Zhang Mingyang quickly stepped forward to lead the way. Let's go. At the exact same time. Music. Li Qian linked arms with Lin Qingshui. After looking around, she immediately turned to Lin Qingshui and the other two. Hey girls, what do you think? Which place should we go to? The other two roommates both said they didn't mind. So Li Qian turned her gaze back to Lin Qingshu, beside her. Lin Qingshui casually looked up, but as her eyes swept across the surroundings, her entire body suddenly shuddered. In front of a barbecue place, I was standing next to Zhou Pengfei and the others. Right as I was about to walk into the restaurant, Lin Qingshui felt her mind go completely blank. Her eyes locked onto the entrance I had just walked through. She held her breath, unable to snap out of it for a long time. It was too similar. It was really too similar. Unlike the back she had seen this morning, this time she felt like she had actually seen a guy who looked almost exactly like Chu Xiaoyu. In that moment, Lin Qingshui felt as if she couldn't breathe. Right then, Li Qian shook Lin Qingshui's wrist. Qingshui, what are you daydreaming about? Lin Qingshui finally snapped back to reality and looked at Li Qian and the others. Let's have barbecue. Barbecue and cold drinks in the summer is the absolute best. Naturally, Li Qian's group had no objections. Lin Qingshui then led the girls slowly toward the same barbecue restaurant I had just entered. With every single step she took, her heart beat a little faster. Could there really be two people in this world who looked exactly alike? Or rather, in that very moment, Lin Qingshui's heart, which had been frozen for 3 years, was somehow starting to flutter again. Whether she was clinging to a lucky hope or just foolishly dreaming, she just had to go see him. The boy who looked exactly like the Chu Xiaoyu in her memories. Meanwhile, Zhang Mingyang's group was. We were the first ones to arrive at the restaurant. They found a private room and sat down. I casually grabbed the menu, skimmed it quickly, and looked over at them. I'll head to the restroom for a bit. You guys just look at the menu and order whatever you want. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lam Than Tuyet and Lithian's group had also arrived at the restaurant. First, they found a corner to sit down. Lam Than Tuyet called the owner over to ask for the menu, then looked at her friends. You guys go ahead and look at the menu to order some food. I think I just saw someone I know. Let me go look for him real quick. Who is it? Don't tell me it's some handsome guy. Go, go, go. Just go ahead. We'll order first. She then stood up, her eyes scanning the barbecue joint, once, only to find unfamiliar faces everywhere. Her expression instantly turned into disappointment. However, she then took a deep breath, and one by one, pushed open the doors of the private rooms in the restaurant. Realizing there was still no sign of that familiar face, she walked out of the room in disappointment again. Finally, Lam Than Tuyet pushed open the door of Truong Min Duong's group's private room. Seeing Lam Than Tuyet walk in, Truong Min Duong and his two friends immediately widened their eyes. Hello, senior. Lam Than Tuyet gave them an embarrassed smile, while looking at the 4 sets of tableware laid out on the table with curiosity. Do you guys have one more person with you? Our third roommate went to the restroom. Lam Than Tuyet nodded, looking at them with a slightly embarrassed look. I'm so sorry. I thought I saw someone I knew, so I walked into the wrong room. She then quickly left the private room. But just as she turned around, she saw the back of a young man wearing a short-sleeved white t-shirt. At that moment, Lam Than Tuyet's heart rate instantly spiked. For a second, she took a deep breath and slowly walked up behind the young man and gave his shoulder a quick, gentle tap. The young man in front quickly turned around. When he saw it was Lam Than Tuyet, his eyes instantly lit up. Lam, did you need me for something? Lam Than Tuyet's face instantly froze in embarrassment. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got the wrong person. I'm so sorry. Truly sorry. I'm really sorry. Lam Than Tuyet kept apologizing profusely. Finally, she walked back to Lai Thian's group, looking completely lost. Music. What happened? You just went out for a second, and now you look like you've lost your soul. It's nothing, really. This is the first time our whole dorm has gone out for barbecue this semester. Let me drink a toast first. After pouring herself a full glass of drink, Lam Than Tuyet threw her head back and quickly chugged every single drop of it. Meanwhile, on the other side, I leisurely walked out of the restroom, not even looking toward the main lobby, and went straight back into our private room. On the table inside, the chilled drinks had already been poured full. Seeing me walk in, Chubang Fi, Vuong, Music, Loe, and Truong Min Duong all immediately laughed and said, "Third bro, what took you so long in the restroom? Everyone's waiting for you. Come on, come on. Let's make a toast to the four of us gathering here from all corners of the country." I didn't stand on ceremony. After sitting down, I immediately picked up the drink in front of me. Over half. An hour later, after 3 rounds of drinks and more than half the food was gone, Truong Min Duong raised his glass and smiled at us. "Hey guys, Senior Lam Thon Tuyet is actually eating at this restaurant too. What do you think? Should we go out and offer her a drink? After all, she's going to be our assistant advisor during our upcoming military training." "Wait, Lam Thon Tuyet came by here? You were in the restroom earlier. Senior Lam probably got the wrong room, so she dropped by us a bit. Just now when I went to the restroom, I saw her and her roommates still drinking. Out there. Right, I saw them too. You've got to hand it to Senior Lam. She really deserves to be called our university's #1 beauty. Even the way she drinks water looks incredibly elegant." Hearing this, my brow furrowed slightly. Drinking water? I remembered how Lam Thon Tuyet used to be. She was someone who never even touched these kinds of drinks. With the scraping sound of my chair sliding back, I immediately stood up. Chubang Fai's group immediately looked over at me. "Old third, where are you going?" "I'm heading out for a second. You guys keep drinking." With that, I pushed open the door of the private room. Walking into the main hall and scanning the area, I quickly spotted Lam Thon Tuyet continuously chugging down her glass. At the table, Lai Tian and her 2 other roommates were watching Lam Thon Tuyet with worry. "Thon Tuyet, stop drinking. Look at you. You've had way too much already." Lam Thon Tuyet's eyes had already started to grow hazy. Her hand holding the glass trembled slightly. With a flushed face, she said, "I'm fine. I'll just finish this last glass and then I'm done." Right at that exact moment, a face she had been longing for day and night suddenly appeared before her. Even though he looked a bit blurry, she was absolutely certain that it was indeed me. I snatched the glass from her hand, tipped it back, and poured the rest down my own throat. "Stop drinking." Li Thien looked at me in shock. "Junior, is that you?" I asked her. "Senior, how much soft drink did she have?" Li Thien pointed to the 7 or 8 bottles on the floor. All of these were finished by our campus beauty, Lam. She drank way too much. Lam Thon Tuyet immediately looked up, her eyes slightly red. Tears immediately rolled down her cheeks. "I'm not drunk. Xiao Yu, is that you? Xiao Yu, you finally appeared." Then, she wrapped her arms tightly around me. "I promise, I will never argue with you again. Please don't suddenly disappear. Again. Okay?" My eyes were filled with mixed emotions. I gently patted her trembling shoulder and looked over at Li Thien. "Senior, where's your dorm? Let me help you carry her back." Li Thien was stunned at first, but then she grew excited. Yes, we can't even carry her ourselves anyway. Sorry to trouble you, Junior. It's no trouble at all." After that, I wrapped my arms around Lam Thon Tuyet's waist and scooped her up into a princess carry, lifting her from the chair. With steady steps, I slowly walked out of the barbecue restaurant. Inside the private room, Chu Bang Fai's group poked their heads out to look. Seeing me carry Lam Thon Tuyet away, they were completely dumbfounded. It was so sudden. Just moments ago, they were planning whether to go over and buy her a drink. But look at me. He went right up and carried her off. What on earth is going on? That's Lam Thon Tuyet. Lam Thon Tuyet's other 2 roommates were also completely dumbfounded. During her whole year in college, the guys pursuing her included wealthy heirs driving luxury cars and young entrepreneurs from off-campus, but without exception, she rejected them all. On campus, she didn't show the slightest interest in any guy. Why did she throw herself at this junior the second he showed up? Li Thien was also a bit surprised. Given the situation, there was definitely something going on between them. And that was that. Music. But as far as she knew, Lam Thon Tuyet had only ever been involved with one guy. And that was the boyfriend she lost 3 years ago. Could it be Tu Vu? Thinking of this, Li Tian couldn't help but shudder. Could this really be a resurrection? But, right now, she didn't have the peace of mind to overthink it, and quickly ran over to the barbecue joint's cashier. After paying, she led her 2 roommates out to follow me. Outside, the area was packed with many Capital University students walking back and forth. The moment I carried Lam Thon Tuyet out of the barbecue joint, we immediately caught the attention of quite a few students. Oh my gosh, girls, look, that Princess Carrie. Is this some idol drama being filmed? That guy is so handsome, especially those long legs of his. I wish I was the girl in his arms. Countless girls covered their mouths and squealed. However, quite a few sharp-eyed guys recognized Lam Thon Tuyet in my arms and immediately gasped, "Oh my God, the girl that guy is carrying. Isn't that sophomore Lam Thon Tuyet? Let go of my goddess, and let me do it." Lam Thon Tuyet sleepily opened her eyes and stared at my face right in front of her. She immediately wrapped her arms around my neck, clinging to me like a little squirrel on a tree trunk, hanging onto my body. From her lips, her sweet, fragrant breath escaped as she softly mumbled, "Tu vu. Is it really you? Tu vu, you're finally back. Promise me you won't leave ever again, okay? I promise I'll never, ever argue with you again." I helplessly looked down at Lam Thon Tuyet in my arms, a flash of pure tenderness in my eyes. "I promise I'll never leave you again, okay?" Hearing this, Lam Thon Tuyet instantly smiled, acting cute like a little child. "Then, you've promised, okay? No more leaving, ever. From now on, if anyone disappears without a word again, they're a puppy. I promise. Whoever disappears again is a puppy." Only then did Lam Thon Tuyet quiet down, obediently snuggling into my chest. As she slowly fell asleep, I turned to Li Thien, who was walking beside us. "Does she always get like this after drinking?" Li Thien shook her head repeatedly. "No, not at all. Although we roommates sometimes go out to hang out and have a few drinks, Thon Tuyet is always very moderate and has never gotten drunk. Then again, this is our first time seeing her drunk either. Who would have thought that someone normally so cold and proud would turn into such a child after having a drink?" The two girls next to her nodded in agreement. I gave a slight nod, then looked at the phones the three of them were holding, asking curiously, "Are you guys filming?" Li Thien's expression froze. She smiled awkwardly at me, "Just capturing some good moments. We're simply recording how she looks when she's drunk. Tomorrow, once she wakes up, we'll send it to her. It'll be easier to help her remember what happened tonight. Go ahead and film. Just make sure I look handsome." But after taking just 2 steps, Li Thien curiously glanced at me. "Hey, Junior, you wouldn't happen to be the one he mentioned was her boyfriend who died 3 years ago, right?" I thought for a few seconds. If anyone unexpected fits the bill, it's definitely me. Those girls were instantly dazed. But she still said you. I cut her off, looking down at Lam Thon Tuyet, who was cradled in my arms. "You girls want to say that I've been dead for 3 years, right? Actually, I also really want to know why she keeps saying I've been dead for 3 years. Guided by Li Thien, I carried Lam Thon Tuyet to the girls' dorm entrance, and only then gently put her down from my arms. I looked at Li Thien and the upperclassmen. "Since she's back in the dorm, I'll have to trouble you girls to look after her tonight." "No problem." After that, the girls together helped support Lam Thon Tuyet and guided her step by step into the dorm. Once their figures disappeared from view, I finally left. By the time I got back to the barbecue place, Chu Bang Fai and the guys were still sitting there like good boys, in the private room. Seeing me push the door open, the 3 of them jumped right up. One of them rushed to pull out a chair for me, another cleared a clean spot on the table, and the third handed me some freshly grilled skewers and a bottle of water, pushing me down into the seat. Only then did the 3 of them line up and sit back down, looking exactly like an interrogation panel, staring at me with gossipy faces. "Ol' third, spill it. What's the quadding? Deal? On your very first day of college, you quietly managed to win over the most beautiful campus belle of our university?" I looked at them, completely speechless. "What do you mean, won over? She and I have known each other since high school. Just now, I heard you guys say she was outside, so I just went over to say hello. I didn't expect her to be so drunk, so I just walked her back to her dorm." Chu Bang Fai rolled his eyes at me. "When you say that, does your conscience hurt at all? Ol' third, don't treat us like fools. Since when does carrying someone princess-style back to her dorm count as a normal friendship? Were her roommates just there for decoration? Besides, I saw it plain as day. Campus. Belle Lam threw herself into your arms." Vuong Loi's eyes lit up. "Ol' third, don't tell me you're that ex-boyfriend who's been dead for 3 years according to Campus Belle Lam. 3 years ago, you two broke up. Then you hurt her so deeply that, out of bitter resentment, she started telling everyone you're dead. In the Capital University dorm, Chu Bangfi, Vuong Loi, and Truong Min Duong surrounded Tu. Vu, the atmosphere buzzing. Ol third, I get it now. You're not being straight with us. Did you get tired of her and dump our beloved campus belle lamb? Is that why? She claims you're dead? Oh man, if that's true, during the upcoming 2-week military training, where campus belle lamb is our class advisor assistant, she's definitely going to make life miserable for us. Vuong Loi patted my shoulder, looking extremely anxious. You've got to solve this, okay? I was caught between laughing and crying. Stop making wild guesses. You guys. I didn't do anything wrong to her. Besides, the two of us aren't even dating. As far as I know, she never even had a boyfriend in high school. Then I get it. So that whole story about her ex-boyfriend dying 3 years ago was just made up by campus belle lamb, using a fake boyfriend as a shield. Looks like I still have a chance. Chu Bangfi shot a glare at Truong Min Duong with utter disdain. Get real, man. Stop daydreaming and deluding yourself. I swear by my sharp sixth sense that Ol third and our campus, belle lamb definitely have some hidden history. Suddenly, all three of them, Chu, Bangfi, and the guys, turned their eyes in unison toward Tu Vu. Chu Bangfi clasped his hands together, looking at me with eager anticipation. Bro, let us in on the scoop. What are you guys gossiping about? I sighed helplessly. Looking at the three of them, my expression was calm. In a sincere tone, I told them, we were never together, and I certainly didn't dump her. We're just normal classmates. Humph. So you didn't have any feelings for her at all, buddy? I fell silent for a moment. Yes, I did. Jume. At the same time, at a large scientific research base for aviation engines in Mobay, the atmosphere inside the meeting room was incredibly tense. Though the middle-aged man was not yet 70 years old, his hair was already completely white. Wearing a white lab coat, he stared at the folders of top-secret design drawings in front of him, feeling like his head was about to explode. This man was Professor Liu, who had called me earlier. The Vice Dean of the School of Information and Electronics of Jingda University, Ye Jiangguo, stood on the podium of the meeting room, his stern eyes sweeping over the crowd of researchers below. In a serious tone, he said, Everyone, regarding the failure of this test flight, does anyone have any thoughts? Have we found the problem yet? The test results are out, and there are a few areas where issues occurred. First, it is still the issue with the turbine blades. The precision of the turbine blades is still slightly off, and then, everyone listened in silence. When the report ended, Ye Jiangguo snorted coldly and angrily slammed the report onto the table. Never mind the other aspects for now. The precision tests for the turbine blades have been done so many times, yet they still fail to meet standards. What on earth are those material suppliers doing? Do they really want us to change our design drawings? Compared to other scientific research bases working on the same project, some have already developed engines for next-generation transport aircraft. The development of various drones and missiles has already dragged on for 10 long years. Yet, the test flight yielded a result like this. Liu Yang looked up at Chief Engineer Ye and said firmly, Chief Engineer Ye, I know someone who might be able to help us solve this problem. The person he was referring to was me. Back during the research on photolithography machines, that research base also encountered numerous issues. But once those problems reached my hands, they were quickly and smoothly resolved. Having once participated in the research and design in a certain aspect, at the photolithography technology base, my status in their hearts had almost become legendary. Besides, he had discussed fighter jet engine design with me before, and in this area, I believe I have plenty of experience. He was confident that if I came, I would definitely be able to solve this problem. Ye Jiangguo immediately turned to Liu Yang, his eyes filled with a glimmer of hope. Who did you say can come and solve this? Liu Yang said solemnly, Chu Xiaoyu. The moment he said that name, the entire meeting room erupted into whispered discussions. Who is Chu Xiaoyu? Which field is he an Ozin expert in? How come I've never heard of him? Is there really a domestic aerospace research expert named Chu Xiaoyu? Chief Engineer Ye is the vice president of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and even he isn't certain he can solve this. Can this Chu Xiaoyu guy really help us resolve the issue? Whether it was the research project they were involved in or the one I was heading, both belonged top secret clearance. Not to mention, my current identity within the country is absolutely top secret. That is why almost everyone present here has no idea of my name. Ye Jiangguo's expression remained unchanged as he looked at Lu Yong and asked, "Is the Xiaowu you're talking about the chief designer of the project you were involved in?" As the deputy director of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, his sources were still very sharp. After all, back when they nominated me to be a senior academician of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the senior members of the academy even held a meeting. Regarding my achievements, he had a good understanding of them. That is indeed him. Then can you invite him over? From what I understand, isn't that young kid right? Now slacking off on his career and running off to study at Beijing University? Yes, that is right, slacking off. The old man actually knew a thing or two about my scientific talent. Within 3 years, I went from absolute ground zero to developing 1 nanometer lithography technology, single-handedly pushing China's chip industry to the very top of the world. With a talent like that, he wished nothing more than to keep this kid at the research base 24 hours a day. I cannot guarantee anything about the research, but we should at least give it a shot, right? Why don't you give it a try then? Sounds good. I would love to meet that interesting kid. Or myself. We are all getting old. The future of China's scientific research must ultimately be handed over to the younger generation. Early the next morning at the Beijing University dorm, I was packing my clothes while telling Lu Yong on the other end of the line, no problem at all. I will book the earliest flight out. I should be there by tonight. With that, Chu Xiaoyu hung up the phone. Zhou Pengfei had just woken up, rubbing his half-closed eyes and scratching his head. He looked up at Chu Xiaoyu packing his bags, looking a bit confused. Hey man, why are you packing up so early in the morning? Something came up at home, so I need to make a quick trip back. I actually just got a call from Lu Yong asking me to consult on the research and design of a 7th-generation fighter jet engine. Honestly, I did not have to get involved, but I know deep down that once I dedicated myself to scientific research, my life no longer belongs solely to myself. Just like a few months ago at the research base, when I wrote those words, pledging to devote my life to research and use the power of knowledge and technology to serve my country, to strive for this my whole life, because some things simply must be done. Zhou Pengfei was instantly wide awake. His eyes popped open as he asked, "What? You are not planning to join the military training?" I already got permission from the university. Zhou Pengfei, still half confused, nodded and asked, "So, you got permission to completely skip military training? How long will you be away?" "A week at the earliest. At the latest, I should be back by the time you guys finish training. Since I am only going there to consult a little and do not need to join the core planning, 2 weeks at most should be enough." "Damn, dude. You aren't doing this just to skip military training, are you? By the way, did you tell the campus beauty, Lin Qingshu, about leaving so suddenly?" My hands, packing the clothes, suddenly froze. Meanwhile, over at the girls' dorm, the crisp morning sunlight streamed through the window onto the floor. Lin Qingshui had a slight headache. She massaged her aching forehead, stretched lazily, and asked Li Qian, who was already awake, "Hey, Qian, what time is it turn? What time is it?" 7 o'clock is still quite early. Lam Than Tuyet quickly climbed down from her bed, rubbing her eyes as she mumbled, "I should get up. Did I drink too much last night? Why do I vaguely remember holding someone in my arms?" Lai Thian burst out laughing and teased, "My goodness, I thought you'd forgotten all about it." Lai Thian pulled out her phone and opened the video she had recorded last night. "Well, do you need this senior of yours to help jog your memory? Watch this video. Honestly, I've got to hand it to you." Li Tian held the phone in front of Lam Than Tuyet. "See for yourself. Look who carried you back. Do you remember him?" Lam Than Tuyet snatched the phone away. The moment she saw the screen, she froze, in shock. The video showed me carrying her back to campus, and it even captured my playful remark, "Make sure you wish me to look handsome." In that moment, a flood of memories came rushing back. Tear after tear began to stream down Lam Than Tuyet's face, as if she was terrified I would disappear. After watching the video, Lam Than Tuyet stared at Li Tian with wide eyes and asked urgently, Thien, how do you know Xiao? You? Where is he?" "He's a freshman in our business management department. Last night, after you got totally wasted, he showed up. You just threw yourself in his arms, and he carried you back here." "Than Tuyet. Is he by any chance? The one? The boyfriend who passed away 3 years ago, whom you always talk about. I have to find him. Lam Thon Tuyet didn't even bother to answer Li Tian's question. After quickly changing her clothes, Thon Tuyet, could he really be the one? The boyfriend who passed away 3 years ago that you always talk about? I have to find him. Lam Thon Tuyet didn't have time to answer Li Tian's question. She quickly changed her clothes. As she rushed out of the dorm, Li Tian shouted after her, "You're in such a rush. Do you even know where his dorm is?" Outside the dorm gates, there weren't many people walking around. I was strolling leisurely along the path outside the gate, on my way to Antruong's to grab some breakfast. Suddenly, Lam Thon Tuyet's trembling voice echoed in my ears. Xiao. You, Xiao Yu. I jerked my head up. The tears on Lam Thon Tuyet's face were already gone. She stopped, in front of me, staring intently at my face. 3 years had passed, and my appearance hadn't changed all that much, though I seemed to have grown quite a bit taller. The naive look in my eyes was gone, replaced by a sense of maturity and calmness. Yet, my aura remained the same. Lam Thon Tuyet used to think I was too mature for my age, just like an old-fashioned scholar. That serious way I spoke actually amused her. Even now, I still had that scholarly vibe. Dressed in the simplest, most casual clothes, I still exuded a gentle, refined air. Although she had already caught a glimpse of me in the video, facing me in person at this very second made Lam Thon Tuyet feel as if her heart had stopped beating. A dead silence fell between us. Neither of us spoke first. Right now, she was overwhelmed with curiosity, confusion, and resentment. At times, she resented him for leaving back then without a single word of farewell. Even if the two of them had never been together, shouldn't friends at least say goodbye to each other? I, too, froze in my tracks, staring. I stared at Lam Thon Tuyet for a long time. She was still just like she was 3 years ago. Her face barely changed, still as beautiful as ever. Actually, ever since I left the researching base, I had thought of all kinds of opening lines for when I saw her again. 3 years have passed. Do you have a boyfriend yet? Have you been doing well these past few years? Congratulations, by the way. You finally got into Capital University. But right now, I really don't know how to face her. 3 years ago, I received an inheritance from a super civilization, the Eternal Knowledge Bank. Even with the level of knowledge that I have access to right now, I still can't fully grasp the concept of this Eternal Knowledge Bank. But it truly exists deep inside my brain. It was precisely through studying the contents of that Eternal Knowledge Bank that I finally developed the technology for a 1 nanometer lithography machine. And this was just an ordinary technology in that Eternal Knowledge Bank. But it was because of this very technology, this highly precise 1 nanometer lithography machine, that I submitted it with the mindset of just giving it a try into the country, which led to my sudden departure without a single word for 3 years. The two of us looked at each other for a few dozen seconds. In those brief moments, every single memory of the two of us back in high school flashed through our minds once again, like the times we were both called up to the board by our teacher. The teasing cheers of our classmates from below, or when we cheered each other on during the 1500-meter relay at the sports meet, sneaking bites of dried meat during class, and even standing under the sunset. The brilliant red sky of those late afternoons during our youth had left a deep imprint of each other in our minds. It was just a pity that she had never held my dirty hand after I played basketball, and I had never helped her brush back her messy hair that was blowing in the wind. I stood frozen on the spot, hesitating for a long time before finally raising my head to ask, I heard that I was dead? The rims of her eyes suddenly turned red. In an instant, as if a million words were choking in her throat, she grit her teeth. That's right. So Tu Vu, aren't you supposed to be dead? Why? Did you disappear for 3 whole years? Lam Thon Tuyet really thought I had died. Yet here I was, suddenly appearing right in front of her. My voice suddenly caught in my throat. I desperately wanted to explain everything that had happened over the past 3 years, why I left, and what I had been doing, but with my current identity, it was completely impossible to reveal anything. I forced all those endless explanations back down into my heart. What I had done over the past 3 years, the details of it, even the people closest to me must absolutely never know. Even my own contributions can only wait until after my death to potentially be made public, so that I can finally stand fully under the sun. In the end, I only whispered, either way, It's been a long time. Lam Than Tuyet's face turned completely cold. I didn't want to see you at all. I only came here to see if you were actually dead. Now that I know you're alive, I'll be on my way. After saying that, she turned to leave. I called out to stop her. Lam Than Tuyet. She paused, her voice cold. What is it? Music. I just wanted to tell you about our promise back then. I didn't break my promise. She sneered, holding back, her anger as she looked at me. Our promise back then? So Tuvu? What exactly is our relationship anyway? Who do you think you are? Do you think you can just leave when you want and show up when you want? It's been 3 years. Do you know how many texts I've sent you? And you didn't even reply to a single one. You, without a single reason, just vanished as if you evaporated from time itself, completely disappearing. Do you think playing the mysterious lone wolf like that is so cool that you can feel so proud of yourself? Do you think doing that will make me remember you for the rest of my life? Didn't you already disappear? You were gone. So why did you have to show up again? With that last sentence, Lin Qingshui was practically screaming, as if she wanted to pour out all the grief, hurt, and resentment of the past 3 years. At the very beginning, Lin Qingshui actually still held on to hope, wondering if I was just playing a prank on her, to suddenly disappear for an entire summer break. Back then, she even thought that once she found me, she would give me a piece of her mind, a real scolding, but eventually, she gave up. 3 long years without a single word. She gradually felt like she was about to forget everything that had happened between the two of us 3 years ago. But now, here I was, suddenly appearing out of nowhere. I was scolded into utter silence. What could I even say? My life is dedicated to my country, so I couldn't pledge my whole heart to you. My love, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left back then without saying goodbye. I left in such a rush back then, and I didn't know how to face you, to tell you I was leaving. The scientific research mission I had joined was a national secret. Even my parents only knew that I had been specially recruited by the government into a special facility to study. Serving and contributing to my country was something I never regretted. But when it came to Lin Qingshui, my heart was filled with guilt. Lin Qingshui cut me off. No need. You don't have to apologize to me. We don't have any kind of relationship anyway. If you want to leave, just leave. If you want to stay, then stay. Whatever you do has nothing to do with me. I looked at Lin Qingshui tenderly and said, I have to leave for a bit. My family has some urgent business, and I need to go back for a while. But at the very latest, after military training ends, I'll be back. Hearing this, Lin Qingshui's face tensed up again. She instinctively asked, Did something happen? But then, her expression turned cold again as she said, Go if you want to. I'm nothing to you, so you don't have to explain anything to me. Even though I've already notified the school, you are, after all, our class advisor's assistant. As a freshman missing military training, letting my advisor know is only proper, isn't it? Besides, in my eyes, you're not just my class advisor. Lin Qingshui gave a soft huff and tried to play it cool. I have no idea what you're talking about. Is there anything else? If not, then I'll be going now. This time, it doesn't count as slipping away, quietly without saying goodbye, right? I don't want to be a puppy anymore. Lin Qingshui immediately remembered her drunken words from last night, blushed, and glared at me. I can't be bothered with you. If you have a family emergency, then get going already. You're so annoying. With that, Lin Qingshui quickly turned around and walked away. I stood, frozen in place, watching her figure recede into the distance, a smile slowly creeping onto my face. Back in her dorm room, Lin Qingshui sat lost in thought for a long time before suddenly getting frustrated and blaming herself. She tried to comfort herself, saying, Lin Qingshui, can you please not be so spineless? Don't just go soft the second you see him. He quietly abandoned you for 3 whole years. Did he ever care about how you felt? And here you are, worrying about whether something happened to his family. Lin Qingshui then took a few deep breaths. Once she had calmed down, her mood shifted, and she quickly made up her mind. The events of these past 3 years, she absolutely couldn't just let them go. But I had absolutely no idea about any of this. I had no clue. At that moment, I was already stepping into the elevator, heading toward the boarding gate lounge. Suddenly, someone shouted at the people inside the elevator, Hey, everyone inside, get out. Get out first. I looked up and peered outside. Standing amidst the chaotic crowd out there was a male celebrity, surrounded by quite a few fans snapping pictures of him. I couldn't help but scoff. There are so many of you. Can't you just wait for the next elevator? Is this airport? Your personal runway or something? The assistant's face immediately turned incredibly sour. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Do you even know how packed our Luo's schedule is? Are you clueless? Our flight is about to leave, so hurry up and get out of the way. My expression didn't change one bit. Our flight is about to take off? What does that have to do with us? Why don't you ask the people in this elevator if anyone here doesn't have their own places to be? Just because he's a celebrity, does he get special treatment? Hearing this, the rabid fans surrounding us became furious and screamed. Are they really as busy as our Luo? Luo is a top-tier superstar in this country. His schedule is absolutely packed every single day. Is it really that hard to let our Luo go first? What is wrong with you anyway? Yielding the elevator to Luo is an honor for you guys. Move it. Right now. Why are you just standing there like an idiot? If this makes Luo miss his flight, can you even take responsibility for that? By now, the male celebrity's face also looked a bit displeased. His massive popularity over the past 2.5 years had spoiled him. He was used to being pampered. Never mind yielding an elevator even during film shoots. If he arrived 2.5 hours late, the entire crew still had to wait for him. He sneered, inwardly, but as a seasoned star, he remained cautious. In certain areas, acting too aggressively in public could easily trigger a massive backlash. The next second, a warm smile spread across his face. After ordering his assistant and bodyguards to step back, he looked at me inside the elevator and smiled. It's all right. Even though I'm in a bit of a rush, you guys go ahead and take it first. After all, everyone's busy too. My mouth twitched in sheer disbelief. Just during the time spent arguing, the elevator could have already gone up and down once. Yet, those brainless fans were deeply moved, swooning over how polite Luo was, all while cursing me out. I shook my head in utter helplessness, not even bothering to pay any attention to the male celebrity as I pressed the button to close the doors. Little did I know, my refusal to give up the elevator would make him want to weaponize public opinion and sick his fans on me. Not long after I left, the male celebrity looked at the crowd of fans with a smile, though a malicious glint flashed in his eyes. All right, everyone. Please don't cause a scene. This was just a minor misunderstanding, so please don't post about this online, okay? We really have to go now. Everyone, please head home. The assistant instantly caught his drift and smiled at the crowd. Go on home now, everyone. Just remember, absolutely do not let this spread on the internet. Please, absolutely keep this to yourselves. Of course, while his mouth said one thing, his mind was already plotting. If this drama blew up online, how could he leverage it for a massive marketing push? The fans, they hadn't originally thought about looking at it this way, but the moment they heard it mentioned, within various fan groups of this male celebrity, it instantly exploded like hot oil on fire. Luo was their entire world. So bullying their precious idol was even more unforgivable than killing their own parents. Just over 10 minutes later, Luo's rabid fans started flooding the internet with maliciously edited videos and endless slogans condemning me, even going as far as using big data to track down my personal information. Everything came pouring out at once, including a post titled, "Get out here and apologize to Luo. Our idol deserves respect." Fueled by these frenzied fans, it was pushed straight to the top of the trending list. Consequently, some details about me were also leaked online by some users, even though most of my critical details were locked behind C-level encryption, meaning unless one had extremely high clearance, it was practically impossible to find. Yet, despite that, my photos were still leaked online. Especially in the personal background section, I discovered that over the past 3 years, there was absolutely no trace of any information regarding Chu Xiaoyu. Once this was exposed, countless rabid fans of Luo immediately turned into keyboard warriors, typing away furiously. Is getting into Capital University this easy nowadays? Can just any random nobody get into Capital University? These days, we can't find his college entrance exam records at all, nor can we find anything else. Has he ever even participated in a top-tier international competition? How did someone like this get into Capital University? I demand the relevant departments look into this thoroughly. Of course, there were some level-headed fans, but swayed by the toxic fans' manipulation, online public opinion from the start was heavily in Luo's favor, turning me overnight into a street rat that everyone wanted to beat up. Meanwhile, in Capital University's female dormitory, Li Qian was comfortably scrolling through videos. But upon seeing this skyrocketing hot search, she immediately called Lin Qingsui over. Qingsui, look, is this your junior? There are so many people online bad-mouthing him right now. Lin Qingsui froze for a moment. She quickly grabbed Li Qian's phone and skimmed through, instantly feeling utterly speechless. Are these fans all idiots? Then, she pulled out her own phone, went straight into the hot search page, and started firing back. Are celebrities superior to everyone else? Just because he didn't yield the elevator? Are they in a rush to be reincarnated? Or just eager to die? Seeing Lin Qingshui's indignant reaction, Li Qian couldn't help but chuckle. Qingshu, who was it that said you'd have nothing more to do with Xiao Yu? Looking at you now, I bet you still have lingering feelings for him. This is a separate matter. If anyone else were treated like this, I would do the exact same thing. But she quickly realized her comment was instantly drowned out by the wave of malicious comments. Qingshu, we have a major problem. Those rabid fans of Luo don't seem willing to let your junior off. He's in serious trouble this time. But at this very moment, inside a highly specialized office, a red warning light suddenly flashed. A staff member urgently reported, a massive number of users are currently exposing the identity of a member with our country's Class CC level security clearance. There is a high risk of a classified leak. Countermeasures are prepared, awaiting specific instructions from superiors. After Lu Changqing, director of the National Security Bureau, saw this, he flew into a towering rage. Ding! What kind of work are you guys doing? Immediately have someone take down all information about So Tu Vu on the internet right now, and immediately dispatch someone to investigate this matter. See if there is any foreign intelligence agency behind this. Adding, fuel to the fire. I am only giving you 10 minutes. If he suffers any harm because of this, you all better prepare to face the consequences. China might not need me as the director of the National Security Bureau, but the scientific research community of China absolutely cannot do without him. As a genius researcher in the country, my personal profile had long been linked to the National Security Bureau. No matter who or what organization wants to look up my profile, it will immediately trigger a high-risk warning. However, he never in a million years expected that this time, it wouldn't be just a single person looking up my identity, but countless ignorant netizens who were spreading my information on social media. Lu Truong-kan reviewed the footage from the airport elevator surveillance camera, then gritted his teeth and muttered curses. These celebrities nowadays are really getting out of hand. Having a diva attitude is one thing, but they don't even know who they're dealing with. Who do they think they are throwing a tantrum at? Forcing someone who is about to become the youngest academician in the country to yield the elevator to her? Is she even worthy? However, just as he finished speaking, his phone instantly rang. The moment he saw the caller's name, his heart clenched. The protective one was calling. The caller was the president of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, Vuong Vidan. Don't be fooled by their old age. When it comes to protecting their own, every single one of them is a force to be reckoned with. Lu Truong-kan took a deep breath and nervously answered the call. Vuong Vidan immediately lashed out at him. Lu Truong-kan, is your position as the director of the National Security Bureau just for show? Now that such a major incident has happened online, is your National Security Bureau not at fault at all? Let me tell you, if So Tu Vu's identity is exposed, I, this old man, won't even care about my reputation anymore. Elder Vuong, please calm down. Please calm down. My side is calm down. Already arranging for people to handle this within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, all the news online will be completely taken down. As for that celebrity, I will immediately set up a meeting with the head of the Cultural Development Department. Rest assured, I will definitely give you, as well as all the scholars of the Academy of Sciences, a satisfactory explanation. Fine, I'll await your news. Vuong Vidan quickly hung up the phone. Lu Truong-kan took a deep breath, gritting his teeth in his office. Then, he picked up the desk phone to notify the head of the Cultural Development Department, demanding that he show up at my office within half an hour, otherwise I will personally go to their Cultural Development headquarters. At the same time, in the airport waiting lounge, I received a call from Vuong Vidan. Tu Vu, don't worry about this matter anymore. Just leave it to this old man to handle. Just wait for your flight in peace. and don't let external matters distract your mind. Within one day, mute her satisfactory answer. Originally, I didn't care much about it, but in the next second, a few gaudily dressed girls walked up to me, their faces full of mystery. Are you so, Tuvu? You look quite handsome. Aren't you in a hurry? Why are you still waiting around in the lounge like this? Just sitting here doing nothing? You just saw how famous our Lak Lak is and wanted to ride her coattails, didn't you? Our Lak Lak is off limits to you. Don't you just want to be famous? Fine, let us help you. Become the most famous person tonight. The moment those words left her mouth, one of the girls splashed a bottle of water right at me. Caught completely off guard, I was drenched from head to toe. The security guards in the waiting room saw this and rushed over my side, shouting, "Hey, what do you girls think you're doing?" The girls glanced at each other, then scrambled away immediately. I had just finished drying myself off with some tissues when my phone screen resting nearby lit up. It was Lam Than Tuyet, worrying about me from her dorm, sending a quiet message. Are you okay? My terrible mood suddenly brightened up, but just as I was about to text my proud and aloof Lam Than Tuyet back, my dorm roommate called. As soon as I answered, I flew into a rage. It turned out that Lam Than Tuyet and her roommates had all gone online to defend me, but somehow, someone exposed them. They dug up the fact that we were desk mates back in high school, and someone even leaked her photos online. Now, she was being viciously targeted and cyberbullied by Lak Lak's fans. From the very beginning, I had kept a tolerant attitude, choosing to ignore those crazy fans. But at this point, I could no longer take it. Taking a deep breath, I looked down at the message from Lam Than Tuyet, and my heart ached terribly. She was being shredded by online hate, yet she was still only worrying about me. How could she be so foolish? After a few seconds of hesitation, I called her back. The call connected almost instantly. Tuvu, how are things at the airport? Are you okay? I heard Lak Lak's fans are totally out of control. Did they do anything to you? No, I'm fine, really. Don't worry about this for now. Just let me handle it, okay? For now, stay safely in your dorm and stay off social media. Go find a comedy or something fun to watch. Once it's over, I'll have everything sorted out. Lam Than Tuyet's voice sounded a bit shaky. By the end, there was a faint, choked sob in her throat. How are you going to fix this? Right now, there are so many people online screaming bloody murder. How can you handle this alone? She regretted it so much. If she hadn't let her pride get in the way and had gone to see him off, maybe none of this would have happened. To change the subject, I smiled and said, Senior Lam, you're worrying about me so much. Does this mean you've finally forgiven me? No way, Tuvu. Let me make one thing clear to you. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I only defended you online because they were completely out of line. That's it. Don't you dare overthink this. You can forget about that idea right now, because I will absolutely not forgive you. Secretly, though, she added one more thought in her heart. At least, not this easily. She really had no backbone when it came to him. It had clearly been 3 years of zero contact. Yet, the moment she saw me again, her heart instantly surrendered. No matter how many harsh words she spoke, or how much anger she bottled up inside, just seeing Tuvu once made all the heavy worries in her heart instantly vanish like smoke. From the very first moment I saw Lam Than Tuyet again, I knew she was still the same girl from back then, just a little too proud. The only stroke of luck was that we hadn't lost each other after all. I looked up with a soft smile, my voice turning serious. Our future is still long. Just wait. Once I finish sorting out my family's affairs, then I will ask her to forgive me properly. Having said those words to him, she immediately hung up the phone. She quickly took a few deep breaths, raised her hand to her slightly flushed cheeks, and fanned them a few times to cool down. Li Qian, who was next to her, grinned mischievously and asked why she had stopped crying. When Lin Xingsui's personal information was leaked by those fans, countless malicious direct messages were sent to her phone. No matter how cold she seemed on the outside, deep down, she was still just a 19-year-old girl. Lin Qingsui quickly shook her head, picked up her phone to play the role of an online warrior of justice again, and started posting comments. Meanwhile, after hanging up on Lin Qingshu, I took a secure phone from my suitcase and dialed a number. This is Zhao Yu, security code AC17171. I request to speak with Chief Liu Chongqing of the National Security Bureau. Once connected, Liu. Chongqing said hurriedly, Chu Yanshui, I am truly sorry. Please rest assured that your identity will absolutely not be leaked. The National Security Bureau will thoroughly investigate everyone involved. Then I will trouble you, Chief Liu. But there is one more thing I must ask of you. That girl at Peking University who stood up for me. I don't want her to be harassed by this anymore. It is no trouble at all. This is exactly what our bureau should be doing. However, Academician Chu, if I may, make so bold as to ask a question? Is classmate Lin Qingshu, who is causing such a stir online, your girlfriend? If that is indeed the case, our bureau will make necessary arrangements. For the family members of top scientific researchers, the National Security Bureau had a whole set of security protocols, just like they did for my parents. The moment I set foot in the scientific research base 3 years ago, my parents were relocated to the family quarters in the capital. Moreover, their daily safety was fully guaranteed. I froze for a few seconds. Unfortunately, she isn't yet. I understand. Rest assured, I will have someone arrange this. Liu Chongqing nodded repeatedly as he spoke, then hung up, still muttering to himself. I knew it. Why else would this kid suddenly go to Peking University to study? Turns out he went to find a girlfriend. Now, this is what a young man should be like. But immediately after, he frowned, looking at the topic that was still climbing up the trending search list. What is going on here? Haven't we already started deleting some comments? Why is the heat still so high? Luo's fans are just too numerous. We cannot keep up with deleting their comments. As soon as we wipe out one batch, another appears instantly. What did their person in charge say? If they cannot suppress this heat, do they want me to invite their boss to have some tea at the National Security Bureau? Their person in charge is not answering, but I contacted a friend who works there. He said quite a few capitalists have jumped into Luo's case, wanting to use this opportunity to hype him up once again. His current commercial value is still extremely high. I do not care which capitalist is behind that Luo guy. Tell our technical department to shut down their entire server directly. Ban the accounts of everyone who made inappropriate remarks online. Bring all those capitalists back to the National Security Bureau for me. Let me see if their money is bigger, or my size 49 boot is bigger. Also, notify the other departments. Within 2 minutes, every piece of news related to Xiao Yu on the internet had to completely vanish. Meanwhile, in the luxury VIP lounge, Luo was lazily lounging on a high-end massage chair. Looking at the fiercely debated topic, his eyes were filled with disdain and smugness. Just a nobody like you, and you think you can take me on? I only need to lift a finger to make you regret this. The assistant beside him burst out laughing, starting to flatter him. Your fans are truly worth every penny, Brother Luo. It's been less than half an hour, and this topic is already about to shoot up to the #1 spot on the trending search list. Your popularity is going through the roof again. But just as they were celebrating, they had no idea they were about to go to jail. Meanwhile, inside the National Security Administration, Liu Chongqing directly slammed the file on his desk right in front of the head of the Ministry of Culture. In just 10 minutes, the hot search keywords were instantly taken down. Not a trace of information about Xiao Yu could be found online anymore. Seeing this, Luo instantly gasped in shock. What on earth is going on? The assistant hurriedly contacted a senior manager working at that platform. As soon as the call went through, that manager immediately lost his temper and barked. Let me tell you something. We've got a massive storm brewing, this time. For old time's sake, let me give you some sincere advice. Either you run for your life, or you turn yourself in and confess everything when the time comes. Don't be stubborn. This scandal of Luo's, he is completely finished this time. Also, before 9 o'clock tonight, bring all the senior executives of your company to the General Administration of Cultural Development. I'm inviting you all over for tea. The agency's director was instantly dumbfounded. Just then, his secretary burst in frantically, looking terrified. Director Sun, we have a major crisis. The tax bureau officers are here. They want to seize all the financial and tax documents of our company. Meanwhile, back at the airport, Luo and his assistant were bombarded with notifications of channel bans, canceled endorsements, and terminated contracts. While they were still struggling to understand what was happening, 4 plainclothes officers walked up, solemnly flashing their badges. Well, superstar, we wish you the best of luck in the coming days. Luo instantly flew to a rage, but the moment he struggled, two officers pinned him down. At the same time, in the girls' dorm at Capital University, Li Qian excitedly shrieked, Qingshu, Qingshu, did you see that? The authorities have stepped in. Your Su Xiaoyu is incredibly lucky this time. Lin Qingshui repeatedly nodded, then haughtily explained, I saw it. But let me solemnly declare once, again, Xiaoyu and I really, truly have nothing to do with each other anymore. Yet, the very next second, the phone in her hand began to ring. Her expression instantly grew tense, and she hurriedly signaled for silence. With an anxious look, Lin Qingshui whispered, Shh, quiet. Xiaoyu is calling. Li Qian instantly smirked. And you still say you and Xiaoyu have nothing to do with each other? Look at you, getting all worked up the second he calls. Taking a deep breath, she finally answered the phone. Trying to sound completely casual, Lin Qingshui spoke. Xiaoyu, is something wrong? I'm about to board my flight, so I wanted to let you know. Lin Qingshui nodded thoughtfully, then immediately pouted. The two of us, we don't have any kind of relationship. If you're boarding a plane, that's your business. What does it have to do with me? You didn't need to call me. Yet, right after saying that, she couldn't help but ask, seeing that news online. Did you see it? Luo has been arrested. All the news about you on the internet has completely vanished. Your luck is seriously incredible this time. To actually coincide with the government's cleanup of the entertainment industry. That's true. I still have to thank the state. He didn't explain too much. If she could think along these lines, that was obviously for the best. That way, he wouldn't have to waste his breath explaining any further. Just then, an announcement to board the flight to Mobe echoed through the airport. I have to board the plane now. I'll come find you when I get back. Oh, right. I still wanted to ask you. What did you mean by ex-boyfriend who has been dead for 3 years? His ex-girlfriend, Lin Qingshu, instantly blushed deep red. What ex-boyfriend? I don't know anything about that. Just get on your plane. I'm hanging up now. After hanging up the phone, Lin Qingshui immediately became extremely nervous. Why did he suddenly remember that? Back then, I really thought he was dead. Who could have known he'd still be alive today? How am I supposed to explain this? I can't exactly tell him, because I liked you so much. I gave you the title of dead ex-boyfriend, right? But immediately after, she felt a little puzzled, muttering to herself, passengers traveling from the capital to Mobe. When did Xiaowu move? To Mobe? Before she could think any further, Li Qian leaned in close. Hey, little Qingshu, do you have any idea? The way you looked on the phone just now was exactly like a little girl head over heels in love. Meanwhile, Luo was sitting dazed in the police transport vehicle. He was still clinging to a sliver of hope, feeling that he might still be able to salvage the situation. Looking over at the law enforcement officer beside him, his voice carried a flattering tone. Officer, could you let me borrow your phone? Just let me make a few quick calls, please. You definitely can't make any calls. That's the rules, but I can let you take a quick look at the current news outside. With that, the officer pulled out his own phone. But the moment Luo saw the screen, in the very next second, the officer suddenly swore, Lao Wang, pull over. Let me sit up front. This kid is so scared, he just pissed his pants. Meanwhile, back in the female dormitory, Lin Qingshu was starting to miss him again. Staring at their call history, she gritted her teeth and silently grumbled. Xiaowu, after you got back, you didn't send a single update. You didn't even tell me if you made it home. Music. Right at that moment, Li Qian casually walked up to Qingju. Hey Qingshu, if you really miss him that much, why don't you just text him? No way. I'm gorgeous. Are you saying no one else would want me besides Xiaowu? Why should I have to be the first to text him? Meanwhile, in order to quickly develop the space shuttle engine, I began burying myself in research documents, day and night. At 11 o'clock at night, I went to Ye Jiangguo's dorm and handed the iPad in my hand to him. Director Ye, these are my concepts and research drawings for the aerospace engine. Ye Jiangguo only glanced at them for a moment before his expression gradually grew serious, because the documents I provided were incredibly detailed. Just then, my phone suddenly rang. I'm sorry, Academician Ye. It's fine. It's fine. It's this late already. It must be your little girlfriend from Capital University texting you, right? Young folks in love. I've been there too. You don't Not like they're paying attention to me anyway. I picked up my phone to check, and sure enough, it was a message from Lam Thon Tuyet. Are you home yet? I'm home. I'm chatting with someone else. What's up? As soon as Lam Thon Tuyet saw this message, her anger flared up instantly. She had swallowed her stubborn pride with great difficulty to initiate a conversation and ask what he was doing. And yet, this guy dared to say he was chatting with someone else. He had time to chat with others, but couldn't spare in a single second to text and let her know he was home? Just because he disappeared for 3 years? Does that mean they aren't good friends anymore? Back when they were desk partners, even when he went to take a shower, he would text to let her know. Sure enough, men always change. Was she just being overly sentimental? With a soft huff, Lam Thon Tuyet sent a wall of text. Seems like I picked a bad time. I won't bother you anymore. You go ahead and chat with her today. I'll message you tomorrow. That way, it won't seem too distant, don't you think? Good. Night. I'm going to bed. Seeing this long text that Lam Thon Tuyet suddenly sent, I was instantly bewildered. What is this about? And what's with this tone of voice? Seeing this, Diep Kien Kwok, who was sitting next to me, quickly asked, Had a fight with your girlfriend? Back when I was pursuing your grandmother, I coaxed her so well she was on cloud 9. If it's a relationship issue, you can consult this old man. And just like that, one dared to teach and the other dared to learn. So Tuvu sent Lam Thon Tuyet a message like this. All right, go to sleep first then. The dorm AC is on in the summer, so make sure to tuck yourself in tonight so you don't catch a cold. Good night. Love you to pieces, you little thing. On the other end, when Lam Thon Tuyet saw this, her expression instantly froze. She gritted her teeth and typed furiously. Tuvu, I haven't beaten you in 3 years. Are you itching for a beating? I was stunned. After a few seconds of hesitation, I immediately texted back to ask, Isn't that what they say on the internet? Lam Thon Tuyet was absolutely furious. Tuvu, are you a caveman? Li Tian, who was sitting next to her, immediately leaned over with a gossiping look toward Lam Thon Tuyet. Did your Tuvu make you mad? Lam Thon Tuyet clenched, her phone tightly. I've decided. I'm ignoring him for at least 3 days. I bet it'll be 1 day at most. Diep Kien Kwok looked at our dazed faces. Well, did she go to sleep happy? Yeah. She went to sleep. The next morning, as a teaching assistant, Lam Thon Tuyet was sitting on the training field, checked her phone every now and then. Li Thien, who was sitting next to her, quickly asked, Thon Tuyet, are there flowers growing in that phone of yours? You keep glancing at it every few minutes. What's going on? Lam Thon Tuyet pouted instantly, her tone incredibly aggrieved. Isn't it because of Tuvu? I sent him a good morning text, early this morning, and now it's almost noon. He hasn't even replied with a single word. Even though I said I'd ignore him for 3 days, I didn't say it directly to him. I even posted a status on my moments, along with a photo from military training, just waiting for him to text me. Just asking how the military training at school was going would have been fine. Maybe I'd soften up and talk to him again. Who knew that even when I gave him a chance, he wouldn't take it? Didn't you say yesterday that you wouldn't look at him for 3 days? Is that so? But still, couldn't he at least send me one text message? Seeing this, Li Thien couldn't help but pinch Lam Thon Tuyet's cheek. Oh, please, she said. My sweet little Thon Tuyet, do you really have to be this adorable? If he doesn't text you, then just ignore him. There are plenty of men in the world. If things don't work out, we can always find someone else. It's not like you're desperate for that Tuvu guy anyway. Lam Thon Tuyet checked her phone once again. Still, not a single message. That afternoon, at the scientific research base, dozens of leading experts from various fields and professors were gathering. Except for Enjo Luke, almost everyone else had received emergency mobilization orders and were immediately sent to the scientific research base in Macbak. They had absolutely no idea what was going on. Just as everyone was buzzing with chatter, Diep Kien Kwok finally walked in with Tuvu and Ngo Luke, slowly entering the meeting room. The whispering experts looked up at his arrival, and some in the room were completely stunned. They had no idea about his achievements, and the researchers working at this base were at least around 30 years old. The senior ones among them were already close to 70 or 80. They held a brief introductory meeting. The meeting lasted for nearly 6 hours. It wasn't until past 2 in the morning that he finally wrapped up. He focused on explaining theories related to the implementation of the warp drive engine. Along the way, he also answered a lot of questions raised by the experts and scholars. As the meeting ended, thunderous applause erupted. Along with it, the enthusiastic, passionate cheers of each researcher echoed throughout the entire room. After saying goodbye to the experts, he went to the security locker at the entrance to retrieve his phone, turning it on as he walked back to his dormitory at the guest house. Once it was on, he immediately saw the message from Lamthon Tuyet. It had been sent around 11 o'clock last night, just a simple, short goodnight text. He thought for a few seconds, smiled, and sent a reply, "Good night, sweet dreams." To his surprise, the very next second, Lamthon Tuyet shot back a reply instantly. Well, looks like our busy VIP finally decided to reply to my text. Did you just wake up? Lam Thon Tuyet gritted her teeth, thinking, sleep? What sleep? All day today, except for morning greeting, he hadn't sent a single extra message, making her feel so anxious and restless. Sending that good night text was just a way to get him to text her back, but she ended up waiting and waiting. She had waited all this time, and now, Lam Thon Tuyet took a deep breath, quickly trying to calm her emotions. She slowly typed back that she wasn't asleep yet. Just chatting with my roommate. Is something wrong? No. So, when are you going to sleep? I don't know. Things at home are so busy. So busy that you couldn't even find a moment today to text me? I was busy finalizing some documents in the morning, hosting experts and professors in the afternoon, and then meeting with them all night. Wow, you really are busy. Good for you then. Lam Thon Tuyet thought to herself. If you're that busy, you might as well not text me at all. Just focus on your work. But in the end, she didn't send those frustrated thoughts. Instead, she curiously asked, last time, you made me so mad I completely lost my mind. I didn't even get to ask. And another thing, Xiao Yu, you suddenly disappeared for 3 years without a word. Shouldn't you at least give me an explanation? But after thinking it over, she felt like asking that seemed a bit too impatient. So she texted again. Of course, if you feel there's no need to explain things to me, that's fine too. After all, we don't have any kind of relationship anyway. That jerk Chu Xiao Yu, disappearing for 3 years without a single word. For a beauty like me, to still be nice enough to text you now, you should count yourself lucky. You'd better explain yourself clearly, your reason for leaving 3 years ago without saying goodbye. Qing Shu, can we please not bring this up? Lin Qingshui was so furious she wanted to punch her bed, but she still calmed herself down and quickly replied, oh, okay, then let's leave it at that. I'm going to sleep. Are you mad at me? Lin Qingshui curled her lip. That blockhead wasn't completely beyond hope after all, huh? No. How could I dare be mad at a busy, noble genius like the great Chu? If you get mad again, and then decide to go on another disappearing act like 3 years ago, what would I do? That won't happen. There was a real reason for 3 years ago. But I promise you, I will absolutely never leave without saying goodbye again. I'm nothing to you anyway. You don't need to go out of your way to tell me this. Aren't we good friends? Just good friends? What else could we be? A moment later, Lin Qingshui helplessly face-palmed. She was completely hopeless. This guy was truly beyond help. I've spelled it out this clearly, and yet he still doesn't get the hint? Forget it. I want to sleep. Get some rest early. Okay then, go to sleep. Good night. Over the next few days, they stayed like this, chatting back and forth with a few casual words. But every time I saw a message from Lin Qingshui, it was a rare moment of relaxation in my busy scientific research work. 10 days later, the military training at Capital University was also drawing to a close. Inside the Mobe Scientific Research Base, it was filled with warm rounds of applause. During these 10 days, we stayed holed up in the research base day and night just to build the model in front of us. If this model can run successfully, it means that my theory is valid. Today would be an epoch-making day in this lifetime. I never thought I would see the possibility of realizing a warp drive engine. This is truly extraordinary. If the model can run perfectly, this is absolutely a giant leap forward in the field of dynamics worldwide. Today will surely be written into history, music. But Chief Engineer Chu really has worked hard. This is the first time I've seen someone do scientific research so recklessly. And as soon as those words were spoken, everyone present turned their eyes toward me one after another. If yesterday I relied on my theoretical knowledge to convince everyone here, now it was thanks to my powerful scientific research charisma. I smiled at everyone. Don't praise me. Just yet. Let's get ready for the first activation test. Xiao Yu, do you want to rest for one day? We can do the activation test tomorrow. No need. I can still handle it. Let's just go ahead with the activation test. Ye Jiangguo also knew he couldn't change my mind. With a soft sigh, he silently stood. Stepping aside, a researcher soon brought over a red activation button. Chief Engineer Zhu invited me to activate it. Taking a deep breath, I was just about to press the button when I suddenly turned to look at Ye Jiangguo beside me. Dean Ye, why don't you do it? I'm a bit nervous. You silly boy. Are you seriously bickering over hierarchy with me right now? You are the chief engineer, so you should do it. All right, here goes nothing. I nodded, and with a solemn look in my eyes, I pressed the button in my hand. Everyone held their breath, completely focused. Immediately after, the prototype of the warp drive engine began to operate. A massive surge of power flooded inside. Across the entire research base, red lights began to flash in waves. Constant alert announcements began to echo in everyone's ears. Activation successful. Starting warp drive, engine chamber. As the final countdown came to an end, a 100-pound sphere was dropped from the air directly into the warp field. The sphere, which should have fallen straight to the ground, the very moment it entered the warp field, shot straight ahead instead. Finally, it slammed hard into a massive steel door 100 meters away. Witnessing this scene, everyone's racing hearts finally began to settle. Inside the entire base, wild cheers erupted. We did it. We actually did it. The warp drive works. The warp drive is possible. Countless people embraced each other, sobbing with joy. Ye Jiangguo's eyes welled with tears. He had dedicated his entire life to engines. From the very beginning, watching Huaxia's fighter jets build their engine technology from absolute zero, he had tasted all the hardships of that journey. He yearned more than anyone for Huaxia's aerospace sector to stand at the top of the world. And, today, he was finally seeing it. After the wave of emotion, I slowly bowed to everyone. I, Xiao Yu, would like to thank you all for your understanding. For the rest of the journey, I must leave it in your hands. But the moment I bowed my head, I felt my head growing incredibly heavy, and a sense of dread washed over me. Over the past days, my body had been severely exhausted, and my strength could no longer hold out. Instinctively, my body began to sway slightly. Ye Jiangguo was the first to notice my condition. He rushed over. Xiao Yu, what's wrong? Because since early this morning, Ye Jiangguo had already noticed something was off with my mental state. But since the warp drive prototype was about to be fully assembled, I had forced myself to hold on to that last ounce of focus. Now that the prototype test was over, the last breath I was holding on to finally vanished. I smiled bitterly. My physical health was still too weak. I had only stayed up for 10 days, yet my mind was already in this state. I generally understood my current condition, it was just pure exhaustion. I just didn't know how many days I would be unconscious and hoped it wouldn't be too long, lest Lin Changshui worry. After that, I gathered my last bit of strength, looking at Ye Jiangguo with weary eyes. I'm going to have to trouble you all again this time. The next second, I slowly closed my eyes. My body lost all control and began to slump forward. Faintly, I heard Ye Jiangguo shouting frantically toward the door. Quick! Get over here. Take him to the Mobe Military Hospital immediately. In the sky above Capital University, 4 of Huaxia's most advanced fighter jets roared and flying by. Right in the middle of those 4 fighter jets was an armed transport plane cruising steadily. One by one, the students on their break looked up at the blue sky, their faces filled with sheer disbelief. Oh my God. 4 fighter jets escorting them. Who on earth is inside that transport plane? What kind of VIP is that? Or are they carrying some highly critical cargo that even fighter jets had to be deployed? What major event is actually happening? A few students even pulled out their phones to snap pictures. But the military, instructors, who had been quite easygoing just moments ago, suddenly snapped. Put your phones down, everyone. No photos allowed. Delete every single picture you just took right now. As the sharp reprimands echoed around, the head instructor's voice boomed over the loudspeaker. Attention, everyone. Your break is over. Put your phones away. Even though we don't know yet why so many fighter jets and transport planes were deployed all at once, Something huge has definitely happened. Meanwhile, in other parts of the capital, it wasn't that no one managed to capture this scene, but the shocking part was that either the videos they took couldn't be sent at all, or if they did upload successfully, they were completely wiped out in less than 1 minute. Lam Thon Tuyet looked up at the sky, watching the fighter jets roaring past. For some reason, an uneasy feeling suddenly washed over her. Lai Thien quickly noticed her unusual behavior. Thon Tuyet, what's wrong? You look really pale. I'm fine. I just suddenly felt a bit unwell. I'll be okay after resting for a bit. And yet, her eyes remained glued to the fighter jets rapidly streaking across the sky. 3 days later, in the intensive care unit of the Capital Military Hospital. After I was brought to the Capital General Hospital, the higher-ups directly ordered the mobilization of almost all the top specialists in the hospital. They gathered here to run tests and consult on my case. This had them all on pins and needles, until they finally confirmed I was just severely exhausted and needed rest. At that point, everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, on the training ground of Capital University, Lai Thien turned to Lam Thon Tuyet. Thon Tuyet, do you want some bubble tea? No, thanks. I'm feeling a bit down. I don't really have an appetite. What's up with you? For the last 3 days, you've been acting like you lost your soul. Is something wrong? After snapping out of it, Lai Thien smiled and asked, It's not because of Wang Tu, Kiet, is it? I heard he's planning to confess to you tonight at the freshman welcoming party. Are you stressing over that? No, that's not the main reason. 3 days ago, after I sent him a morning text, he completely vanished, as if he evaporated from the face of the earth. I've sent so many texts in a row, but I haven't gotten a single reply. It's like he's gone missing all over again. Back at the Capital Military General Hospital, while 2 elderly academics were bickering, I lay on the hospital bed. Suddenly, my finger twitched, ever so slightly, and then I slowly opened my eyes. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at Diep Kien Kwok and Vuong Ve Dan standing nearby, and asked weakly, My phone. Where is my phone? Diep Kien Kwok immediately jumped up from the hospital sofa, overjoyed as he rushed to my bedside, and shouting out toward the hallway of the hospital room, He's awake, doctor. Doctor, please get over here quick. The patient is conscious. I looked at the 2 incredibly excited people in front of me. Didn't I just take a nap? There was really no need to get this worked up just because I woke up. Right. After that, I asked them again, Do either of you have a second to grab my phone for me? And by the way, how many days have I been out this time? Ye Jiangguo nodded repeatedly and handed the phone over to my face. 3 days. I took it and quickly unlocked the screen. A flood of notifications instantly popped up before my eyes. It was a long thread of messages from Lin Qingshou. Good night. Didn't you sleep at all last night? Where are you? Xiao Wu. Are you planning on going missing again? Still not replying to my messages. Xiao Wu, I'm giving you another half hour. If you still don't reply, I'm never speaking to you again. Xiao Wu, you jerk. I'm giving you one last chance. Reply to me right now. Xiao Wu, where on earth did you go? Xiao Wu, I hate you. Bro, I've got some urgent news for you. At the freshman welcoming party for our department over the next 2 days, that sophomore vice president guy is planning to confess his love to senior Lin. Have you sorted out your family stuff yet? I scrolled through the screen and clicked on the group chat notification. Attention all members. Tonight is our freshman welcoming party. All students must have an admission ticket to enter the main auditorium. Under no circumstances should you lose your ticket. Also, some classmates have prepared performances. Give it your all tonight. Bring glory to our class. After quickly scanning through these messages, I immediately looked up and called back the doctors who had just reached the door. Can I be discharged today? Before the doctor could even react, Ye Jiangguo and Wang Weimin both looked at me with deep concern. Xiao Tu, didn't the doctor say you need to get some proper rest? Why are you asking to leave the hospital, today of all days? If it's to attend the celebration party, tonight, we can have someone come and pick you up. Pushing you over in a wheelchair works just as well. But if you ask me, it's best if you don't go. The doctor also stepped up to me. Mr. Chu, it's not a problem if you want to be discharged today, but can you guarantee that your body can recover within this half day? Yes, I can guarantee it. I looked at Wang Weimin and Ye Jiangguo. How is the celebration party scheduled? The celebration will be held at the main auditorium, starting at 7 p.m. Around 7:30, senior leadership will arrive to present the awards and give speeches. Then, it wraps up at 8 p.m., and we will move to the Jiangchang Pavilion at the State Guest House to start the banquet. I glanced back at the freshman welcoming party's schedule on my phone. The welcoming party starts at 8 o'clock, sharp. How long does it take to get from the Jiangshan Pavilion to our school? It's very close. About 10 minutes or so. Ye Jiangguo was instantly startled. Xiao Wu, do you really want to go back to school? With your physical condition right now, are you sure you'll be okay? I'll be fine. Could you two please help me up for a moment and maybe order a meal for me too? Once I've eaten, I'll start my rehabilitation exercises. Tonight, after the celebration party, I won't be joining you for the banquet. Just get me a car ready to take me straight back. Just dropping me off at school in the car is fine, Uncle. Why do we have to go back today of all days anyway? Even the doctor said I only need to rest for 2 or 3 days and I'll be fine. Why rush those 2 or 3 days? I sighed in frustration. My home is about to be robbed. Already. Inside Capital University's grand auditorium, whether they were freshmen or upperclassmen, everyone was gathered. They sat row by row in the seats of the grand auditorium. Lin Qingsua was standing backstage in the hall. In the dressing room, adjusting her outfit, Wang Tuji immediately smiled and walked over to Lin Qingshu. How is it? Are you feeling nervous about going on stage? I'm fine, Lin Qingshu replied coldly, then sat down on a chair in her dressing room, casually picking up her phone to play with it. Wang Tuji was slightly taken aback, but in the next instant, his gaze became even more determined. Zhou Pengfei and the others were sitting in the auditorium. The 3 roommates were whispering to each other. Hey, third bro won't be late tonight, right? He said he'd come to the party tonight. Third bro just texted in the dorm group chat, saying he's on his way and will definitely be here within 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Ah, that's fine then. Wait, what's this? Quick, check the class group chat. The academic advisor just texted. They said the girl who was performing for a class suddenly felt unwell. She was in so much pain she went straight to the infirmary and probably won't be able to perform. The teacher is asking in the group chat if anyone knows how to play the piano. Do any of you know how to play? I've got no clue. Next person. In that group, I suddenly replied to the message. I know how, I can fill in for her. Right after that, I sent another message to the dorm group chat. How long until our class's performance starts? Probably about half an hour. Got it. I'll be right there. A few minutes later, the black sedan pulled up in front of Capital University's grand auditorium. Thank you, Uncle. Sorry for the trouble. After saying goodbye to the driver, I immediately rushed toward the entrance of the grand auditorium. Seeing me, the student union members guarding the entrance of the hall immediately paused for a moment, and then they stopped me right at the entrance. Excuse me, student, which department are you from? Tonight is the freshman welcoming party for our management department. You can't enter without a ticket. I'm from class 1 of the management department, but I left my ticket in the dorm. Can I get a pass just this once? Hey, little brother, how can you prove you're from our School of Finance and Management? Do you have your student ID? Yes. I nodded quickly. I sent a message telling Zhou Pengfei and the guys to come to the entrance to pick me up, then immediately opened my phone's photo gallery and found a photo of my student ID. The student union member took my phone, compared it carefully, holding up the photo on the student ID against the real person, and muttered, Chu Xiao Yu, right? You look way more handsome in person than in the photo. All right, go on in, thank you. Oh my god, third bro, you're finally back. Where is Lin? Qingshui right now? Where else could she be? At this hour, she's definitely in the dressing room, backstage of the grand hall. We can't go back there. Only performers are allowed backstage. Ah, wait, we can't go, but Xiao Yu can, right? Isn't he playing the piano for our class? Third bro, I had no idea you could play the piano. I learned a bit when I was a kid. Well, what about? What are you waiting for? Let's go, let's go. Inside the dressing room, Truong Mien Duong leaned in close, and to the senior girl in charge of coordinating the show. Senior, we're really sorry to bother you, but could you please let us change to a different piece of music? What is wrong with you guys? You're about to go on stage, and suddenly you swap performers. And now you're asking to change the piece too? If every class made a mess of things like yours, how could we even run this freshman welcoming party? Senior, we're so sorry. It's just that, for that piece, Our substitute isn't very familiar with it yet. Please let us change it, okay? Where's the substitute? Tell him to come over here and talk to me himself. Well, our roommate, old 3, isn't very good with words. He's a bit shy. Look, he's standing right over there. Senior, please go easy on us, okay? The senior girl looked over at me, and her eyes instantly lit up. You're saying that guy playing the piano is him? This Maiden's Prayer piece, I know it well. It expresses a young girl's longing for beautiful fantasies. Is he playing this piece for his girlfriend? No way. How could that be? Senior, our roommate, old 3, since he was a kid, let alone dating, he hasn't even held a girl's hand. But you also know we are just last-minute substitutes. He didn't prepare anything beforehand and was afraid of making a mistake, so he just chose the one he knows by heart. Oh, I see. I'll agree to the change, but I'm taking a risk here. You know. In exchange, you have to do me a small favor. Just tell us. After the freshman welcoming party is over, I want his contact info. No problem. Once we walked back, Triu Min Duong asked me in confusion, Old 3, why did you insist on choosing this piece? Because, a long time ago, I promised someone that I would play it for them at the talent show during our high school sports festival. But before the performance even started, I ended up transferring schools. That person was Lam Than. Tuyet. Senior Lam? Yeah. You're really something, old 3. You're definitely different. Half an hour. Flew by. Lam Than Tuyet and Vuong Tu Kiet. Music. Also received the updated cue cards. Holding the new introduction, they prepared to go on stage. But after glancing at the name written on the card, she suddenly froze. At that moment, her mind went completely blank. Class president, what's wrong? Lam Than Tuyet took a deep breath, and after shaking her head, her voice trembled slightly. Next, please welcome So Tu Vu, from Class 1 of the Financial Management Department with his piano performance of A. Maiden's Prayer. As soon as she finished speaking, the student union staff from the backstage stepped up, pushing a piano from the side of the stage to one side of the main stage. Music. All right, Junior So. It's your turn to go on. Good luck. Thanks. I nodded. Then, slowly leaving the backstage dressing room, I walked up the steps one by one, heading onto the stage. My eyes stared deeply at Lam Than Tuyet, who stood on the opposite side of the stage with an expressionless face, before I quickened my pace toward the front of the stage. After taking a slight bow, I sat down on the bench beside the piano. The stage lights above shone directly music onto me and onto the massive screen at the very back of the stage. The camera angle also captured my sharp, handsome side profile. The crowd of girls below instantly froze in awe, stunned. Chu Bangfi, Zhao Mingyang, and Wang Lei, after Xiao Yu went on stage, had returned to their classes section. On their way back, hearing the excited whispers of the girls around them, the 3 of them were instantly left speechless. Just then, the melodious piano music I was playing began to slowly echo in everyone's ears. In a corner of the stage, Wang Tuji noticed the emotional turmoil in Lin Qingshu. Class president, are you okay? I'm fine. Just as she looked up, Lin Qingshui's eyes immediately locked with mine as I looked in her direction. Instinctively, Lin Qingshui's gaze began to drift away. My heart clenched slightly, but I also slowly withdrew my gaze and focused on my playing. When the song finally ended, I stood up slowly and walked to the center of the stage. After bowing to the audience below, I stood at the side of the stage, took a deep look at Lin Qingshui, and then slowly walked off. Lin Qingshui quickly composed herself and walked onto the stage with Wang Tuji. After introducing the next performance, she looked at Wang Tuji and said, I have something to take care of backstage for a moment. If I'm not back in time, please go ahead and host the rest of the show yourself. As soon as Lin Qingshui stepped off the stage and into the lounge, before she could even look around, her right hand was grabbed by him. Come outside with me for a second. Lin Qingshui didn't struggle. With an expressionless face, she let him pull her out, to the hallway outside the lounge. The moment the lounge door closed, Lin Qingshui shook him off forcefully, breaking free from his tight grip, and looked at him coldly. Xiao Yu, are you done acting out? 3 days ago, you vanished without a word. And now, you suddenly show up and even go on stage to perform. Music. What do you want by dragging me out here? Do you find this funny? Or do you just want to see how miserable I've been these past 2 days? Qingshui, I'm really so sorry. but I don't even know how to explain. I couldn't just tell her that I had been asleep in a hospital bed for 3 days. You. You, what? Xiao Yu. I admit I used to like you back in high school. Even at the start of this semester, when I found out you were still alive, I was so happy because those old feelings were still there. That's why I rushed to the boys' dorm gate in the early morning, just to wait for you. But that doesn't give you the right to keep playing with my feelings over and over again. When you left without a word last time, I didn't even ask. Why? But now you go completely missing for 3 whole days. What on earth were you doing? No phone calls answered, no texts replied to. Do you really think that just because I like you, you can treat me however you want? Qingshu, I really didn't mean to. There's a reason I didn't reply to your messages these past 3 days. I swear it wasn't on purpose. Besides, the only reason I came to Capital University was for you. Please, just give me one more chance. I promise you, from now on, I will never suddenly vanish without a reason again. Is this your explanation? Huh? You said something really happened to you. Then just say it. What was it? What on earth was the reason? No matter how busy you were, you couldn't even manage to send a single text. Forget it. You don't need to explain anymore. Xiaoyu, I don't care why you suddenly vanished 3 years ago, or why you came to Capital University now. I don't care about any of it anymore. Over the last 3 days, I've thought it through. Whether you want to reply to my texts or not is up to you. Wherever you want to go, go. Be as free as you want. From now on, your life has absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. That way, I won't have to live in constant fear, wondering when you'll disappear without a word again. I'm just so tired. Xiao Yu, I will never like you again. Let's just end it here. We'll go our separate ways. And from now on, let's just act like strangers. With that, she walked past me with a completely blank face, quickly pushing open the back door of the dressing room. She strode straight inside, drawing the eyes of everyone in the room. It wasn't until Lin Qingshui stepped onto the other side of the stage once again that a single, glistening tear silently rolled down her beautiful eyes. But she wiped it away almost instantly. Taking a deep breath, she suppressed the pain in her heart and forced a smile, passing by each other like total strangers. It was all just a facade on her part, but our story could only end here. Perhaps only after completely letting go would she finally stop worrying about when I might suddenly disappear again. Her youth had truly come to an end. I watched Lin Qingshui's retreating figure, wanting to call out and stop her. But after hesitating for a moment, I silently turned and walked away from the backstage hallway. After texting Chu Pengfei to ask about our class's seating section, I headed back over. The moment I sat down, Chu Pengfei and the guys crowded around. Lao San, did you confess to Lin Qing? XU? Did she say yes? Confession? What confession? Didn't you sign up for this show? Just so you could sneak backstage and confess to Lin Qing's show? It's nothing. I struck out. She's furious because I didn't reply to her messages for 3 whole days. Lao San, this one's on you. There's a saying online that going 3 days without replying to a text means an automatic breakup. You haven't even won her over yet, and you go 3 days without texting back? No wonder she's pissed. So, Lao San, what on earth happened these past 3 days? Why did you suddenly vanish? Just drop it. What's done is done. Let's not bring it up again. Just focus on the show. The secrecy regulations clearly laid out the rules for what I did. I was strictly forbidden from revealing anything to outsiders. Hey, it's fine. She's just upset. As long as she doesn't accept Wang Shuji's confession tonight, you still have a shot in the future. At least, she's still willing to get mad at you. If she didn't even bother getting angry at you anymore, that's when you're truly done for. Are you seriously still talking? You just said, if she doesn't say yes to Wang Shuji, Xiao Yu still has a chance. But what if tonight she actually accepts Wang Shuji's confession? Then so what? Even married people can get divorced, let alone just saying yes to a confession. All right, I'm okay. Let's just leave it at that. We'll cross that bridge when I'll get to it. Oh, right, perfect timing since you're back. Our class is getting together tonight. Everyone's going out for karaoke tonight. The private rooms are already booked. Tonight, we should all go sing and grab some drinks. There's no hurdle in life that you can't get over. Sure, but I'll pass on the drinks. These past 2 days my stomach's been acting up, so I'll just tag along to hang out and get to know everyone. Otherwise, we've been in school this long and I still don't even know my classmates, which is pretty embarrassing. In the future, as long as there isn't any super critical project, I'll probably be staying on campus. Getting to know, helping you is the right thing to do. I still have this little bit of strength. All right, all right. Haha. Tonight, this young master will show you all what the voice of a karaoke king sounds like. On stage, Vuong Tu Kiet quickly walked up to Lam Than. Tuyet, class president, what's wrong? Did something happen? Nothing. Lam. Tuyet shook her head blankly, ignoring Vuong Tu Kiet. From then on, her dazed eyes staring at the others performing on stage. Time flew by, and the freshman welcome party was only 2 hours long. After the final performance ended, Lam Than Tuyet and Vuong Tu Kiet went up on stage together to deliver the closing address. But just as the closing address ended, everyone was preparing to leave. It seemed Vuong Tu Kiet had already made arrangements. Suddenly, a spotlight shone directly on Vuong Tu Kiet. Right after that, a student from the side of the stage ran up, holding a bouquet of roses and handing them to Vuong Tu Kiet. Seeing this on the big screen, the students, who were about to leave, sat back down one after another, eager for some gossip. Excuse me. Sorry to take a few minutes of your time. I hope everyone here can witness this moment. With me. Vuong Tu Kiet held the microphone in his hand, looking at the crowd under the stage and said, Honestly, Lam Than Tuyet, from the first time I saw you during our freshman year, I fell deeply in love with you. Today, I want to confess my feelings to you, in front of all the students in our department. With that, he raised the bouquet of fresh flowers in his hand and held it out to Lam Than Tuyet. I've liked you for a year, and I've been pursuing you for a year. I want to get to know you, to see how the world looks through your eyes. I don't know when it started, but I realized I can't live without you anymore. So today, I hope you can give me a chance to stand by your side openly and be together with you. As he finished speaking, the entire music auditorium fell into a sudden silence. In the next second, the crowd below began whispering and buzzing. This guy has some nerve, doing this in front of so many people. How is she supposed to say yes or no? Lao-san, say something. Do you want to go up there? But before I could even open my mouth, Lam Than Tuyet spoke directly to Vuong Tu Kiet. I'm sorry. I know that accepting your confession is the outcome you want, but for me, if I'm going to be with someone, I have to really, really like them. Unfortunately, there's no way I can like you the way you like me, so I can't accept. And one more thing, Vuong Tu Kiet, I made it very clear to you a long time ago. I don't like you. So today is the last time. There won't be a next time. With that, she grabbed the microphone, turned around, and left without hesitation. I let out a sigh of relief and thought, all right, the party is over. Let's head back to the dorm first to shower and change. Aren't we going out for karaoke later anyway? Right. Let's go. I looked up again, catching a glimpse of Lam Than Tuyet's retreating figure. With a sigh, my gaze turned resolute as I followed Chu Bang. Fie out of there. Love and ambition don't conflict. I won't give up so easily. On the main campus road, Lai Thien was standing next to Lam Than Tuyet. Than Tuyet, the way you rejected Vuong Tu Kiet just now was brutal. Poor old Vuong. Having to take such a hard hit, that was brutal. Are we really just going to walk away so heartlessly? Why don't you go be his girlfriend then? Lam Than Tuyet glared at Li Thien in annoyance. I don't even like him, anyway. Yet he just had to confess his feelings in front of so many people, like that. What was I supposed to do? Since he had the nerve to make a grand confession in front of a crowd, he should have prepared himself for the possibility of failure. I'm not going to indulge his bad habits. You've got a point, Li Tian said. Let's talk about something else. Did your junior, So Tu Vu, come looking for you backstage earlier? What happened between you two? Don't even mention his name to me. From now on, there is absolutely nothing between us anymore. In my eyes, he died 3 years ago. Hearing this, Li Thian hesitated for a few seconds. She could tell that Lam Than Tuyet was extremely unstable right now, especially at the mention of So Tu Vu. Her vibe felt almost murderous. Let's change the subject then, Lai. Tian gave a forced laugh, raising the phone in her hand and placing the screen right in front of Lam Than Tuyet's face. Look at this news that just broke online. Our Academy of Sciences has actually developed a lithography machine with a precision of 1 nanometer. They've even manufactured chips at the 1 nanometer level. Who knows, maybe before long, we'll be using chips produced right here in our own country. This time, I'm definitely going to support domestic products. I'm not really interested. Her mood right now was just too miserable. She merely cast a fleeting glance at Li Tian's screen and turned her head away. But in the very next second, she instantly turned back, snatching the phone from Li Tian's hand. Wait a minute, let me get a closer look, she said. She stared intently at the screen of Li Tian's phone, which displayed a photo from the press conference held by the Academy of Sciences. After zooming in to take a closer look, wait, this was just an ordinary press conference photo. What was there to see? Is that So Tio Vu, Lam Than Tuyet? Froze. Although the photo only captured the person's back, right there at the very edge of the front row, the clothes he wore and his posture looked exactly like him. She might mistake other things, but she could absolutely never mistake his back. Then, she recalled, and the medal he was wearing on his chest earlier. At first, she hadn't given it much thought, but after seeing this photo of his back, a wild thought instantly crossed her mind. Could So Vu's disappearance actually be because he went to attend this very press conference? But how old was he? How could he possibly have the credentials to attend a high-level conference like this? Those present must be giant figures in the scientific research community, let alone the fact that he was sitting in the front row. That was simply unbelievable, and yet, there was absolutely no way she could mistake that back profile. Am I just seeing things? Thien, let's head back to the dorm. After returning to the dorm, Lam Than Tuyet immediately searched for that high-resolution photo. After examining it closely for a while, she opened her laptop and quickly searched online. Many types of medals bore a resemblance to the one he had on his chest, yet none seemed to match it completely. Than Tuyet, what are you looking up online? Oh, nothing. Just looking up some reference material. Okay, the search is done. Qian, who do you think those attending the press conference of the Academy of Sciences are? Probably the academicians of the Academy of Sciences and senior researchers there. Or maybe leaders of the General Administration of Science and Technology. That's true too. Lin Qingshui nodded slightly, finally unable to help but laugh self-deprecatingly. What was I even hoping for just now? Hoping that Chu Xiaoyu was going to attend the press conference of the Academy of Sciences and had to sign a non-disclosure agreement or something? Which is why he couldn't use his phone to text me for the past 3 days. How could that be? Besides, even if it really was Chu Xiaoyu, what does it have to do with me? He and I are already in the past. After I returned to the dorm, I changed out of the suit I was wearing, carefully took off the medal from my jacket, and put it away in my desk drawer. Then, I grabbed some clean clothes and headed to the dorm showers to wash up. At 10 o'clock at night, Zhou Pengfei, the others, and I went to a KTV in downtown, Beijing. The organizer of this outing was Wang Tujian, our temporary class monitor. Our military training was finally over. Tomorrow is our day off, so tonight we're drinking until we drop. In the middle of having fun, I was about to go out to use the restroom, but after wandering around, I still couldn't find it. Just then, from the hallway nearby, a group of guys and girls suddenly rushed out. What's going on? Why are they running so fast? Instinctively wanting to stay out of trouble, I immediately prepared to slip away. But, right then, the angry shouting of several men suddenly rang out in my ears. Freeze, everyone! Don't run! I turned around to look. Instantly, I saw several men quickly giving chase. I started backing away even faster. But before I could take even 2 steps, I was caught by one of the pursuers. He grabbed me by the collar. Stay right there, buddy. Buddy? What's going on? I'm a police officer. Cooperate and come with me back to the private room. We'll take you all to the station in a bit. Wait, why? Did we do something wrong? What did we do? What did you do? Don't you know? Good grief. What did I do? I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. Everyone we catch says the exact same thing. If you're innocent, why did you run when you saw us? Stop talking and come back to the private room with us. We'll talk there. The man led me back to a private room. In the dimly lit room, 7 or 8 guys and girls were crouching. Then, those who had run were brought back one by one. Officer, please, I'm really not with them. I just came to sing with my friends. If you don't believe me, I can call and ask them to come here and vouch for me. Fine, make the call. He glanced at me, and compared to the others in the room, he slowly nodded. I was secretly thrilled, quickly, pulling out my phone to call our dorm group. But maybe the music in the KTV was too loud, or everyone was just too drunk, because not a single person picked up. Do you remember the room number? I forgot. I forgot that I didn't even know the room number in the first place. Then just stay here, quietly. We'll head to the station in a bit. If you're clean, you'll be free to go. Our police station isn't far from here. When we get there, you can just call your friends to pick you up. Call my friends to pick me up. My eyes lit up slightly as I looked at everyone in deep thought. Just then, the door to the room was pushed open. Two men dressed in long black coats walked up to the plainclothes officers and casually pulled out their IDs, taking my credentials out. Officers, we can vouch for him. He really isn't one of the people in this private room. So, we must take him with us. You guys are. He took the credentials. Turn on the lights in this private room. After, looking closely at the details on the card, his expression instantly turned serious. You guys are with the Security Bureau. We were assigned by our superiors to protect your safety. Officers, do I know you? I advise you two not to meddle in things that don't concern you. My gaze instantly filled with resentment. The two of them looked at each other, not quite understanding. Right then, from the other VIP room, Chu Bang Fai called him. By the way, why did you call me? Nothing much. It's just that I have something to take care of in the middle of this. You guys go ahead and have fun first. So, are you coming over later? That depends on the situation. All right, then you go ahead and take care of your business. The private room fell into silence, especially the group of young men and women who were squatting on the floor. Their expressions were even more bewildered. Officer, I can vouch for this brother. He really isn't from our room. Just let him go, officer. And you, don't meddle in this. I glared at that gang leader, then turned to the leading police officer. Officer, later on, after I'm taken in and they confirm I haven't done anything wrong, can I have someone come pick me up? Yes, you can. All right then. When are we leaving? If it's any later, I'm afraid my school dormitory will close. The person coming to pick me up won't be able to get out. Who else are you trying to get? The Security Bureau has already stepped forward to vouch for you. Why aren't you leaving? What are you planning to do? I'm looking for a friend. Isn't the reason crystal clear? I got arrested by the police. The Security Bureau officer's lips twitched. Are you two always going to follow me around? The two Security Bureau officers looked at each other. One of them typed a message on his phone to show me. Because your identity has been leaked online. To prevent any foreign organizations from acting against you, we will be by your side to protect you for the foreseeable future. Thank you. Sorry for the trouble. Soon after, the police finished making the arrests. They also took a cooperative citizen like me. I got into the police car and went to the station. My situation was quickly cleared up, with the Security Bureau officers as witnesses, and the cameras also showing that my arrest was a mistake. After making a quick report, I was good to go. The two Security Bureau officers disappeared as well. They were only responsible for protecting me from the shadows. I checked the time. On my phone, 11:20. There were only 40 minutes left before my school's 12 o'clock curfew. I picked up my phone and texted Lam Thon Tuyet. Thon Tuyet, save me. After Lam Thon Tuyet saw the message, her heart instantly tightened. She texted back a question mark. What happened to you? I got arrested and need someone to bail me out. Tuvu, are you out of your mind? After sending this text, Lam Thon Tuyet sent another voice message that was 60 seconds long. In the past, I would have directly chosen not to listen to voice messages. Can't the other guys in your dorm pick you up? Why does it have to be me? What is our relationship anyway? I can't reach them on their phones. I don't know where they went. Just for the sake of our past history, please come bail me out. You're not planning to just leave me hanging, are you? I got arrested. It was just a misunderstanding. We just need someone to come sign and pick him up. Half an hour later, Lin Qing Shui walked into the police station where I was being held. Excuse me, miss. How can I help you today? Excuse me. Could I ask you something? Is there someone named Chu Xiaoyu being held here? I've come to bail him out. Ah, so you're his girlfriend, aren't you? Did you two have a fight? Hurry up and take your boyfriend home. He's not my boyfriend, but what do you mean by hurry up and take him home? Your boyfriend's story has already spread all over our station. He probably went out singing with his roommates at a KTV. Just then, our officers were conducting a raid and mistakenly rounded him up. Even though he proved his innocence right there, he still insisted on being stubborn. He demanded to follow our officers back to the station, saying he had to wait for his friend to pick him up. Young couples fight, but there is nothing you can't get over. Just take him home, give him a piece of your mind, and be done with it. Even husbands and wives fight at the head of the bed and make up at the foot. I think your boyfriend put in a lot of effort just because he wanted to see you. Ah, yes, yes, I am so sorry for causing you all this trouble. I've really put you out. Music. Led by the officer on duty, Lin Ching Shui quickly found me waiting in the break room. Right after the officer on duty left, her face immediately turned cold. Striding towards me, she said, "Chu Xiaoyu, is there something wrong with your head? Didn't I already tell you? From now on, we stay out of each other's way. Don't you understand what that means? Making me travel all this way just to scold you? It's really not worth it. Just because of this, you ran into the police station? Why didn't you just let the officers lock you up for a few days to cool down? But even if I got locked up, it would still be better than you really not wanting to see me anymore." I looked up slightly, putting on a pitiful face. Lin Ching Sui froze. "Stop acting pitiful. Get up right now. Do you believe? I'll hit you so hard your health insurance card runs dry. I've already had my rabies shot. You think I'm scared of you? Right, you weren't even scared of the police station. So what else would you be scared of if you're so tough? Then don't text me to come get you. If you don't have the guts, let's go. Or do you want to stay here? For the night?" I stood up silently, walking beside Lin Ching Shui like an Sina, obedient little wife, whispering to her. After leaving the police station, Lin Ching Shui stood in front of me, looked up, and asked, "Are you okay?" I nodded slightly, but my stomach suddenly growled loudly. "Hungry, aren't you? Let's go grab a bite then." The two of us didn't say a word the whole way, walking and pausing, until we finally found a barbecue joint at an intersection. After randomly ordering a few grilled skewers, Lin Ching Xu asked the owner for 2 cold drinks. She popped them open, poured herself a glass, then poured one for me, and said, "Let's have a drink first." I glanced at the drink, remembering the doctor's instructions when I was discharged this afternoon. For the next 2 days, you must eat light, no smoking, no cold drinks. You hear me? But the next second, I nodded without hesitation, picked up my glass to clink, glasses with Lin Ching Shui. I downed it in one gulp, goosebumps breaking out all over. I stole a glance at Lin Ching Shui. "What are you looking at me for?" "Nothing." "Really? You're still staring." I couldn't help it. "Stop acting pitiful. Hurry up and eat." I silently picked up a skewer. Lin Ching Shui. She watched me eat with a complicated look. I took a few bites, then looked up at Lam Thon Tuyet. "Why aren't you eating?" "I'm waiting for you to apologize first." "Music? Is that all your apology is?" Lam Thon Tuyet raised an eyebrow. 3 years ago, you left without saying a word. I'm sorry for not replying to your texts these past few days. I suppose that's acceptable. For now. So, how do you plan to make it up to me? Tell me, as long as you can do it. It's very simple. Play. Just tell me where on earth you went for the past 3 years, and why you suddenly disappeared. I can't talk about that. It's not that you can't. You just don't want to. Lam Thon Tuyet stood up. "If that's how it is, I'm leaving." "Don't go." I grabbed her hand. I'll tell you everything." Lam Thon Tuyet stopped and turned around to look at me. 3 years ago, my family had some issues, so I had to leave. A few days ago, my phone broke and I had to get it repaired, which is why I couldn't reply to your texts. That's all. All right. I believe you. Lam Thon Tuyet sat back down and picked up a skewer to eat. I let out a sigh of relief. "So, are we friends now?" "Of course. That's great then." The two of us talked while eating, and the atmosphere gradually softened. By the time we finished the barbecue, it was already midnight. "So, where are we going now? The dorms must be closed by now. Let's go to a hotel." "Huh? What are you thinking?" "Let's book 2 rooms." "All right." The two of us walked up to the entrance of a hotel and went inside. "Hello. How can I help you today? Can you please book us 2 rooms?" The male receptionist glanced at our tightly holding hands. He froze for a moment, then said awkwardly, "Currently, our hotel only has a deluxe couples suite left. The room is 400, and the deposit is 200. Will you take it? Or should we find another place?" "Let me check." Lam Thon Tuyet pulled out her phone to search for nearby hotels. None of them had any vacant rooms left. "Is there a sofa in the room?" "Yes." "Ah, then let's just take this room. I'll sleep on the sofa, and you can sleep on the bed." "All right." After checking in, the two of us went to our room. As soon as we opened the door, we saw a heart shape made of rose petals right in the middle of the bed. Lam Than, Tuyet's cheeks instantly flushed red. She rushed into the bathroom, turned on the tap, and splashed cold water on her face. Lam Than Tuyet, you need to pull yourself together. How about I clean this up a bit? I swept the pile of rose petals into the trash can. Lam Than Tuyet walked out of the bathroom. Do you want to take a shower before sleeping? I already showered before coming out. And you? I've showered too, so let's just go to sleep. Lam Than Tuyet took a deep breath, walked over to the bed, grabbed a pillow, and threw it onto the sofa. I'll sleep on the sofa, and you can sleep on the bed. It's fine. I nodded gently and lay down on the peepelang/versus sofa. Right then, some strange sounds came from the floor above, and both of our faces instantly froze. Let's turn off the lights and go to sleep. About 20 minutes later, the noises upstairs finally died down. Outside the window, the moon hung high in the sky. Xiaoyu, are you asleep? It's getting chilly. Are you cold? Why don't you come up here and sleep? But we must have a dividing line in the middle. No one is allowed to cross it. My eyes instantly lit up, and I jumped straight from the sofa onto the bed. Hey, don't you dare do anything funny, she said. Absolutely not. The room fell silent, with only the sound of our breathing filling the space. Half an hour later, I suddenly snapped my eyes open, my consciousness entering the eternal library of knowledge. Lam Than Tuyet had no idea that my consciousness was inside the library of knowledge, as she stealthily stared at me for a long moment, seeing I was fast asleep. Her entire body gradually relaxed, and then she gave me another glare for no reason. By the time it was close to noon the next day, the sunlight from outside the window was shining through the glass, onto the blanket. Suddenly, Lin Qingshui's phone started ringing. Seeing Lin Qingshui impatiently fumbling around for her phone, it turned out to be a call from Li Qian. Qingshui, what is up with you? It's almost noon and you're still not back at school? Still not back? Lin Qingshui felt like there was something heavy pressing down on her. Xiaoyu, get up, hurry! It felt as though I was pinning her down. She slapped me right then and there. Xiaoyu? Who's Xiaoyu? Qingshui, you didn't come back to the dorm last night. Don't tell me you're with? I have some things to handle here. I'll explain to you later, okay? 10 minutes later, I pointed to one side of my face, where the handprint was clearly visible and blocked her right at the bathroom door. My face is completely red now. Aren't you going to take responsibility? Lin Qingshu was stunned for a moment, seeing that the handprint on my face fit her hand perfectly. She couldn't help but burst out laughing. I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. I really tried to hold it in, but I just couldn't. This handprint of yours is just too hilarious. I slipped past Lin Qingshui, opened the toiletries kit on the sink shelf, took out my toothbrush, squeezed some toothpaste onto it, and casually filled the rinsing cup next to it with water. Brush your teeth first. Once you're done, I'll take you out for lunch, okay? After eating, we'll go back to school together. But before we go eat, you have to do me a favor. What else do you want? Go down to the supermarket downstairs and buy me a face mask. With this handprint, I bet it won't fade for another few hours. If I don't wear a mask, how am I supposed to go out and face anyone? Haha, you've got a point. Hold on. I'll definitely buy you a really cool and handsome one to wear. By the time Lin Qingshui returned, I had finished washing up. Seeing the two masks in her hands, I asked in confusion, why did you buy two? Isn't one enough? Lin Qingshui pouted. After putting on a black mask herself, she held the other black mask up to my face, because I want to. Put it on. It should be just enough to cover up that handprint. I stared deep into Lin Qingshui's eyes for a moment, took the mask, put it on, and asked what she wanted to eat for lunch. Whatever. No, whatever. You choose. Then guess what I'm taking you to eat? Hotpot, spot on. Outside the hotel, after Chu Xiaoyu and Lin Qingshu left the hotel and were walking down the street, two men quietly appeared behind them. These were the same two who had planned to rescue Chu Xiaoyu last night. One of the security bureau officers whispered, "Understood. Don't worry. If anything happens, I'll protect him even if it costs me my life." What's going on? Has something happened? I just received word. Someone is targeting Chu Xiaoyu, most likely from the other side of the Pacific. It's all because of Luoluo's fans, exposing stuff on the internet for no reason, just causing us more trouble. His background was completely clean, and going to school normally shouldn't have been an issue, But who would have thought his personal information would get leaked? On top of that, with the emergence of Huaxia's 1 nanometer lithography machine technology, we are standing right in the eye of the storm. And now this had to happen. Even though the higher-ups acted quickly to shut down the news, those foreign organizations, better to eliminate an innocent by mistake than let a threat slip through. Absolutely no seed of danger will be spared. His identity made it hard for him to fly under the radar. He and Lam Than Tuet Sim Ply found a hot pot restaurant. After eating their fill, they both stood waiting for the bus, getting ready to head back to campus. Once they got on, Lam Than Tuyet immediately sat by the window seat. He naturally sat down next to her, pulled out his phone, and grabbed a pair of headphones from his jacket pocket. After plugging them into the phone, he offered one earbud to Lam Than Tuyet. "Do you want to listen to some music?" "Sure." Without waiting for her to react, he took the earbud, slowly leaned in close from his seat, right in front of Lam Than Tuyet with a serious expression, and gently put the earbud into her left ear. Seeing him so close, Lam Than Tuyet's heart unconsciously started racing. "Why? Why are you leaning in so close to me? I'm just putting the earbud on for you. Why not the right ear?" "Because the one I'm holding is for the left." After slowly putting the earbud in for Lam Than Tuyet, he sat back in his own seat. "If you don't like it on the left, let me switch it for you." Lam Than Tuyet shot him a sharp glare. "No need. He definitely touched me on purpose. Xiao Yu did that on purpose. In a few days, it'll be the Mid-Autumn Festival. Do you want to go back home for Mid-Autumn?" "No. I only have a 3-day weekend off. Traveling back and forth is such a hassle. It's a shame that since starting college, this is already the second Mid-Autumn Festival I haven't gone home for. I really want to go back and see the fireworks on Trang Nguyen Chao Island so much. It's a scenic spot in their hometown, located in the middle of a large river, formed by accumulated silt, sand, and gravel, gradually turning into a small island, which then became a popular tourist attraction during holidays, especially on major occasions like the Mid-Autumn Festival. Once approved, the management of the Trang Nguyen tourist area on Trang Nguyen Chao Island would organize a fireworks show on the island. But, ever since coming to the capital, fireworks have been strictly banned in the city center. It's been a long time since she last watched fireworks. Do you really want to see them that badly? Come to think of it, ever since joining the Science Institute and leaving Xiangnan, he hadn't seen the fireworks at Trang Nguyen Chao in Xiangnan either. It was just a bit of nostalgia, but it was just wishful thinking. The capital doesn't allow fireworks, though. Not necessarily. How would you know? How about we make a bet? What do you want to bet? If there are fireworks on Mid-Autumn night, how about you give me a kiss? Let's bet. But what if there aren't? If there aren't, then I'll kiss you. That way, you don't lose either way. Lam Than Tuyet shot him a sharp glare. That's a huge loss, you know. Only a fool would bet with you. After heading back to campus, and after helping Lam Than Tuyet buy food for her roommates, I walked her back to her dorm. By the time I got back to my own room, Chu Bangfai's group still hadn't returned. I pulled my phone out and opened an application with a unique icon. Immediately after, the screen lit up in a blue light. This was a little software I had custom made. Back at the research base, it didn't have much use, but it could scan for all kinds of signal sources within a 20-meter radius. After confirming there were absolutely no surveillance or wiretapping devices in the room, I pulled out my secure phone to call Vuong Vadan. The call was quickly connected. From the other end came Vuong Vadan's hearty laugh. "Xiao, you, didn't we just meet yesterday? What's making you call this old man today? What's on your mind?" "Academician Wang. I'm planning to apply for a lab at Capital University. After that, I might need you to coordinate some materials and equipment over here for me. Got a new idea?" "Yes. As for the necessary materials, I'll compile a list shortly and send it to your inbox." At dusk, rows of military green trucks quickly rolled into Capital University, immediately drawing a lot of attention. The next day, I looked at this massive, empty lab and the exquisite equipment set up inside, clapped my hands, and cheered myself on. Let's get started. Meanwhile, at the girls' dorm, since Lin Ching Sui's group didn't have classes in the morning, they didn't go to the lecture hall. Li Qian was resting, while their other 2 roommates had gone to the university library to study. As for Lin Qingshou, she was keeping an eye on the stock market board. This was one of the main reasons she was highly regarded by the professors at Capital University. Her financial acumen was incredibly impressive. Just as a freshman, she had used 200,000 yuan of her family's seed money to make 300,000 yuan, achieving a return rate of nearly 150%. But right then, next to her laptop screen, a notification for a new email popped up. After seeing the email, Lin Qingshui paused for a moment, then quickly moved her mouse to open it. It was an email from Capital University. Lin Qingshui quickly skimmed through the contents and instantly let out a thrilled scream right there in the dorm. No way. Is this real? Oh my gosh. Professor Zhang actually wants to take me on as a direct track PhD student. The Professor Zhang she mentioned was a renowned finance professor at Tsinghua University and one of the few highly respected economic experts in the country. She had even participated in drafting economic laws and initial bills. She had actually planned to apply for graduate school under this professor. To her surprise, she was offered a direct track PhD position without even taking the entrance exams. Once she finished her undergraduate studies, she could go straight to her for her PhD. She immediately pulled out her phone and shot a quick message to Chu Yu. Xiao Yu, Professor Zhang Xuanlan from my department wants to accept me for a direct track PhD. She's a leading expert in domestic economics. Li Qian leaned in, looking at Lin Qingshui in shock, and asked, Qingshu, isn't the Professor Zhang you're talking about the one who talked with you before and said you were very welcome to apply for her graduate program, that leading economics professor? In their School of Economics and Management, as long as you were a student majoring in anything related to economics. Basically everyone had heard of this veteran professor's name. Is greater than. Exactly. Hurry and call the other two back. Lunch is on me today. Let's all go out to eat. A week later, the phone on Chu Yu's person rang. He glanced at the caller ID. It was Wang Weiman calling. Academician Wang. This is Xiao Yu. Is something wrong? Normally, Wang Weiman wouldn't proactively call him, let alone now when it was past 9 p.m. Xiao, Chu, I'm so sorry to bother you this late, but right now, there is an extremely urgent matter that requires your help. Wang Weiman paused slightly. He paused for a moment, then asked about your lab. In total, how many functional nanosuits do you have? 9. Good. In half an hour, there will be military personnel coming by helicopter. They will pick you up and bring you to the military command center. Please, bring all 9 of those nanosuits with you. As for the military, you just need to get over here first. I can't discuss the details over the phone. Half an hour later, carrying the storage cases containing the 9 nanosuits from the lab, I boarded the military helicopter. Under the cover of night, the aircraft sped toward the military headquarters in the capital. Did something happen to make it this urgent? We aren't really sure, sir. Our mission is only to escort you there. We don't know anything else. I frowned, slightly, but remained silent. Over an hour later, I was brought to a military command center. Seeing the situation there, my brow furrowed even deeper. Seeing me walk in, Yang Xinhua immediately stood up from his seat. Skipping any polite pleasantries, he led me straight to the front of the command center and ordered the soldier nearby to project a video onto the main display. Dr. Su, take a look at this footage first, he said. Instantly, on the main screen of the command center, a tropical rainforest scene appeared. The surrounding trees grew dense and towered into the sky, and in the middle of the frame, several dogs wearing iron armor appeared. Yes, actual dogs. Their entire bodies were encased in steel, and their size was easily 2 or 3 times larger than a normal dog. Vicious, fangs bared in the open, with thick, gooey saliva continuously dripping from their jaws. And as the saliva dripped onto the ground, it sizzled and smoked, clearly possessing a highly corrosive property. My expression instantly hardened. What is this? This is exactly why we urgently summoned you here. This footage was transmitted from our border just 1 hour ago. The location is within the defense sector of a special forces unit stationed at the border. Just 1 hour ago, while our soldiers were conducting a routine patrol, they spotted these bizarre hunting hounds charging from across the border. We suspect they might be mutated creatures created by some border cartel. But these mutated creatures are truly bizarre. Not only are they impervious to gunfire, but even fire can't singe a single hair on their bodies. Because of this, We've already lost an entire Special Forces squad. As I listened to Yang Xinhua's briefing while staring at the images on the screen, my heart rate suddenly began to spike violently. This was no longer a simple genetic evolution. Someone had actively interfered with the gene sequence of these hounds to force a mutated evolution, and had even spliced other gene segments into them. What do you need me to do now? Right now, there are still over a dozen Special Forces soldiers in the rainforest, fighting off these mutated hounds. If they fail, and these mutated beasts break through our border defense line and breach civilian areas, the consequences will be unthinkable. Therefore, we must deploy a combat aircraft immediately to deliver the nanosuits to our Special Forces units on the ground so they can use them to halt the enemy's advance. Understood, but since they haven't mastered the nano armor yet, I'm also remote controlling these suits to wrap around our soldiers in combat. Plus, once this whole thing is over, I hope to get an intact corpse of those mutant hunting dogs in that picture. I need to sequence their genome. For the first time, a look of sheer gravity appeared on my face. I knew these mutant hunting dogs were definitely hiding secrets that nobody knew about. Around 1 in the morning, I finally left the military headquarters. Of course, I couldn't go back to campus at this hour, nor did I want to stay at the military guest house. In the dead of night, I hurried back to the area near campus and found a comfortable hotel. After a quick shower, I looked at my phone and saw a message. From over an hour ago, Lam Thon Tuyet had texted me goodnight. After sending a brief reply, I lay alone in the hotel room, my mind beginning to wander. With a heavy heart, I needed to be alone to think things through. What happened today seemed like a simple case of animal gene mutation, but for someone possessing an eternal repository of knowledge like me, I had to look deeper than that. Right at that moment, my phone started buzzing continuously, with notifications. I tilted my head, picked up the phone, and saw they were from Lam Thon Tuyet. Are you only just getting to rest this late? Did something happen? Pick up. Seeing those messages, I took a deep breath. With trembling hands, I picked up the phone to reply. But in the next second, Lam Thon Tuyet's name flashed on the screen as she called me. Trying to steady my trembling fingers, I took a few more deep breaths and even ran into the bathroom, splashing cold water from the tap onto my face to clear my head. Only then did I walk back into the room and picked up, forcing a normal tone. Tu Vu, are you asleep yet? Not yet. What's wrong? Weren't you already asleep? Did you wake up already? Or couldn't you sleep? Or do you just miss me? A little bit. I just saw the message you sent. Are you feeling down? Girls are naturally sensitive. With just a glance at my message, she could sense it. She knew something was wrong and that I was in a terrible mood. Why do you say that? Is it some kind of telepathy? Either way, I just know you're not happy. Is that why you're calling? I'm just worried you have something on your mind, but can't find anyone to talk to. I'm coming over to your place now, okay? What is there to be unhappy about? Don't keep things bottled up inside. You can talk to me. Don't sit there being sad all by yourself, okay? Isn't there a curfew right now? A curfew? So what? How could that possibly stop this beautiful girl from seeing her man? Hanging up the call with Tu Vu, Lam Thon Tuyet quickly slipped out of bed, trying not to make a sound. She crept over to the closet and quietly opened her wardrobe door to pick out a casual outfit. Changing out of her pajamas, Lam Thon Tuyet was about to open the dormitory door to slip out. Thon Tuyet, it's this late. Where on earth are you going? Lam Thon Tuyet hesitated for a moment, then rushed over to Li Thien, whispering nervously, Thien, you're still awake? Now's the time for you to make a sacrifice for your bestie. What are you up to? I've got to run out for a bit. To see Tu Vu, huh? Lam Thon Tuyet nodded quietly, making Li Tian's eyes lit up, and she quickly scrambled down from her bed, whispering, Hey girl, what you just said totally woke me up. You're not planning on sneaking into the boys' dorm, are you? That's so thrilling. Lin Qingshui was helpless. She glared at Li Qian, in the dark. What on earth is going on in that little head of yours? Music? Xiao Yu isn't staying at the dorm tonight. He rented a hotel room outside. I'm about to go over and find him. Whoa, what is our great campus belle Lin up to? What are you planning to do? I get it. I totally get it. Tell me, what's the plan? Climbing out the window, right? Previously, when their whole dorm went out shopping together, they returned late and missed the curfew. But it wasn't impossible. They could always find a classmate to sneakily open the lobby window of the girls' dorm for them, and then they'd climb in, through the window. Later, let's just quietly sneak downstairs. First, once we confirm the dorm monitor is asleep, I'll climb out the window. Your job is just to close the window behind me. Without any hesitation, Li Qian nodded, then teased her again. All right, but let me tell you first, you two had better stay safe. Go, 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 hurry up. Quietly, the duo made their way down the stairs of the girls' dorm. First, they opened the iron gate separating the dorm floors. The two of them quickly reached the lobby. The first floor of the dorm, where the monitor usually rests, is a small room located on the first floor. But right now, the light in her room was turned off. Outside, they could still see faintly. Moonlight scattered across the floor. Lin Qingsui, Li Qian quickly ran to the first floor lobby. Next to the window by the wall, the two of them worked together. After carefully opening the window, Lin Qingsui nimbly climbed up from the floor. By the window, she turned her head to look at Li Qian. Well, I'm off. Remember to lock the window tight. Li Qian gestured that it was no problem. The very next second, Lin Qingsui quickly jumped through the window and landed on the ground. However, someone had left an empty Coca-Cola can discarded right by the window. As soon as Lin Qingsui stepped down, she stepped right onto the empty can, making a sharp, loud crunch. In the blink of an eye, inside the resting room of the monitor, the light suddenly flicked on. Which room's kids is it this time? Always climbing windows to sneak around curfew. Lin Qingsui, who had just hit the ground, went pale. Babe, run. Take care of yourself. With that, Lin Qingsui quickly dashed forward. Li Qian hurriedly shut the window. Glancing at the swaying shadow inside the room, and seeing that the dorm monitor hadn't come out yet, she immediately bolted toward the hallway. That was way too close. Too close. Half an hour later, Lin Qingsui knocked on the door of the hotel room where I was staying. Seeing Lin Qingsui standing at the door with a bright smile, I curiously asked, "How did you manage to get out?" You have no idea. In our girls' dorm, the lobby window on the first floor can be opened from the inside. I climbed out of the window. I traveled all this way for you. You aren't planning on keeping me out of the room, are you? I stepped aside for her. Once she entered the room, she hopped onto the bed, pulled back the blanket, tapped the empty spot next to her, and looked at me expectingly. She waved her hand, saying, "Come here, come over and chat with your big sister for a bit. Let's unwind." The slightly heavy look on my face gradually melted into a smile. After hiding my emotions deep down, smiling, I walked over to Lam Thon Tuyet's side. "It's so late, and yet you still ran over to my place. Aren't you afraid of me?" "I'm not afraid of you at all." I stared at Lam Thon Tuyet. I stared so intently that even she began to blush. "Yo, you shouldn't keep staring at me like that. Come here, give me a hug." Lam Thon Tuyet froze for a few seconds, looking into Xiao Wu's eyes, which were filled with deep sorrow. Suddenly, her heart ached with pity. Even though I had hidden my emotions very well, she still realized how proud of a man I used to be. In those eyes, that once overflowed with confidence and brilliance, there was now only a cloudy, gloomy shade of exhaustion and dejection. Even though a faint smile still lingered on my face, the brilliant spark of years past had vanished from my eyes. Lam Thon Tuyet reached out to hug me, and then she felt my head gently swaying as I kept nuzzling into her chest, just like a little kitten looking for a warm bed. Lam Thon Tuyet didn't say a word, quietly stroking my thick hair. Looking at my thick hair, this trait of mine really didn't make me look much like a scientific researcher. After a long while, when I finally looked up, she looked at me with concern and asked, "Tell me, did something happen? Is that why you're not happy?" I shook my head. "Can't you tell me?" I nodded gently. Lam Thon Tuyet took a deep breath, and then she naturally laid her head on my lap, looking up at me with a smile and saying, "Fine, if you can't talk about it, then we won't talk about it." But right after that, she heard my stomach growling softly. "Are you hungry?" "A little bit," I thought to myself. Since evening, I had first showered, then headed to the military command center, and now I was back near the school. Up until now, I still hadn't eaten anything. I hadn't realized it before, but now that she mentioned it, I really felt quite hungry. "So, do you want to get some late-night snacks tonight?" "Singing? Didn't you say earlier that you didn't want to eat late because you were afraid of gaining weight?" "I'm ordering it for you." "Silly. So, do you want to eat or not?" "Well, since you're treating, I suppose I can reluctantly eat a little with you." I'll just have a tiny bite. Just a tiny bite? Maybe we should. Forget it. If you end up gaining weight, won't I have to take the blame? How about this? What? Let me go find a coin. We'll flip it to decide whether to eat or not. Heads we eat, tails we don't. And if the coin breaks, we don't eat tonight, okay? Forget it then. No need to flip a coin. It's too much trouble. I'll just have to trouble the lovely Miss Lamb to help me eat some of this late night food. Just a little bit, okay? But you're treating me. It's not like I wanted to eat. On purpose. Right. There didn't seem to be any particular reason, but ever since Lam Thon Tuyet showed up, my mood had significantly improved. Very soon, Lam Thon Tuyet finished placing the order. Since the delivery would take about 30 minutes, Lam Thon Tuyet waved her phone in her hand, looked up at me, and asked, "It's going to take a little while. Do you want to watch some television?" Then, with a proud little smile, she said, "Let me tell you, I recently found a really good TV drama." I nodded gently. Lam Thon Tuyet immediately adjusted herself in my arms to find a more comfortable position. After nuzzling closer into my chest, she pulled up a romance drama she had been following and quietly watched. I didn't say anything either, simply holding Lam Thon Tuyet as we watched the show together on the bed. Late at night, the room was incredibly quiet. All the sounds from the phone had faded, leaving only the soft giggles of Lam Thon Tuyet whenever she watched the funny parts. Plus, she had this habit when watching movies, especially when snuggling in my arms. Whenever she laughed, she'd squirm all over the place. Before long, Lam Thon Tuyet suddenly paused. "What are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking about our future. Thinking about what our future home will look like. Over there, we'll have a sofa and a rug that we pick out together. There'll also be an open balcony to catch the breeze. We can even line up pots of flowers and plants on it, the ones that you and I planted together. In the kitchen, a pot of soup I stewed for you will be bubbling away. Maybe we can even adopt a little ginger cat together. And when night falls, I'll stand by our floor-to-ceiling window, looking out at the city lights and the busy traffic below. Then, when the front door clicks open, you'll walk in with a smile and say, 'I'm home.' I'll run over to hold you tight, while our little cat curls around your feet. The cat is yours. The moonlight outside the window is yours. And me too, I'm all yours." After saying this, Lam Thon Tuyet slowly looked up at me and smiled. "Tell me, will we really have a future like that?" "Of course we will. We're definitely going to love each other until we're 80. What's wrong? Do we have to start fighting when we're 81? How could we?" Suddenly, I really want to see what things will be like 60 years from now. To see if I'm still by your side. To find the answer to how many kids we have and if we still go folk dancing together. And when our grandkids ask me how I chased you back then, I'll definitely tell them, no, it was your grandmother who chased your grandfather first. When she was young, she was way cuter than any of you. And if the kids' music refuse to brush their teeth, I'll tell them, if you don't brush your teeth, you'll end up just like your grandmother, a toothless old lady. Oh, you're unbelievable. You're the toothless one. You'll be a toothless old man without a single tooth left. Tonight was also the only night I didn't enter the eternal knowledge repository to study. Before this, most of the time, I'd be in the eternal knowledge repository, researching all kinds of scientific technologies. But tonight, I wanted to give myself a day off. Is greater than. Time began to slowly drift through the calm two-man. Gloomy night. The central air conditioning in the room blew out. A cool breeze. Yet cold sweat began to bead on my forehead. Chilly and damp, my handsome brow furrowed deeply. My face contorted in sheer pain. "Don't. Please don't." I suddenly bolted upright in bed, looking out the window. A faint white light was breaking on the horizon. Only then did I heave a sigh of relief. Lam Thon Tuyet, who was fast asleep beside me, was startled awake by my scream. Rubbing her still sleepy eyes, she immediately sat up and leaned against my chest. Listening to my racing heartbeat, she anxiously looked at me and asked, "What's wrong? Did you have a nightmare?" Softly smiling, Lam Thon Tuyet gently pulled me close and smiled softly. It's okay. I'm right here with you. Go back to sleep." I squeezed Lam Thon Tuyet's soft hand, and with a sigh of relief, I whispered, "Thank you." Only then did I lie back down under the covers. But having just been jolted awake by that nightmare, my heart still couldn't calm down. In fact, A turbulent storm was already brewing deep inside. Pouring. The next day, Lam Thon Tuyet woke up really early. Thon Tuyet, you are dressing up, so formally. Are you trying to make your So Tu Vu look at you and drool? You'd better watch out, or you might not make it back to school tonight. This is the first time the two of us are going to the amusement park together. Just us. Of course, I have to dress up a little. Oh my god, kids really do grow up and you can't keep them anymore. I looked at the incoming call from Vuong Vedang. Hesitating for a few seconds, I finally picked up. Mr. Vuong, is something wrong? Little so, the research results from the military are in. When do you think you'll have time to stop by the base to take a look? A major discovery regarding the genetic code has been uncovered. Is it urgent? Yes, the gene sequence we analyzed is very bizarre. This is a type of gene that has never appeared on Earth before. When do you think you can come over to the military's research institute to take a look? I hesitated for a few seconds. Maybe some other time, sir. I want to stay at school for a bit longer. Did something happen? No, not really. Maybe I've just been too busy lately and feel a bit tired. Music. I want to rest for a while. I never thought of myself as omnipotent, especially when dealing with these unknown things. Even though I was prepared to accept certain hypotheses, right now I just want to be a little selfish. For once, the Earth will keep spinning no matter who is missing. Sometimes I even think about just staying quietly like this, at school, living my student life, and after graduation, having a wonderful relationship with Lam Thon Tuyet, getting married, and having kids. Maybe I don't need to set such high expectations for myself. Living a peaceful and content life actually isn't that bad. So, how long do you plan to rest? This is something that probably only you can resolve. Right now, whether it's the researchers at the Academy of Sciences or the military researchers, everyone is completely helpless against the genetic code extracted from the mutated hound. That's why he made this call to me. Perhaps I would have a way. I let out an uncertain sigh. Maybe I'll give myself a long vacation for a while, sir. I see. But in the end, he also let out a soft sigh. This is fine too. Then just stay at school and get some good rest. What you've done for the country is really more than enough. Even if you never touch scientific research again, it would still be enough to secure you an important place in the history of scientific research. I hung up, but as my hand holding the phone slowly lowered, the smile on my face gradually faded. 3 years ago, I headed to MacBack without a single hesitation to study optical technology. What was it all for in the end? In front of the girls' dormitory, Lam Thon Tuyet happily walked up to me. She could clearly feel that something was a bit off with my state of mind, or rather, ever since that night, I had never really been okay. This was something she could feel clearly because she had once seen me full of spirit, fearing absolutely nothing, not the me standing here now. Though on the outside, I still seemed completely relaxed. There was always a heavy atmosphere surrounding me. This wasn't like me. Lam Thon Tuyet smiled, raised her hand, and gently wrapped her arm around mine. What's wrong? It's nothing. Or did something come up at the academy again, right? I fell silent for a long time, finally nodding slowly. Is it really that serious? More serious than any problem we've ever faced before. It could even trigger a global shockwave. Once that genetic code is confirmed to actually come from outer space and possess such bizarre capabilities, the world will descend into chaos. Lam Thon Tuyet fell silent, recalling the days when I was just a boy who used to doze off in class, constantly needing her to keep watch for the teacher. But in the blink of an eye, I was already dealing with things at this level. And now, what was my hesitation for? Was it for her? Or was it because of the responsibility weighing on my heart? She had always known that my sense of duty was actually far stronger than what I showed on the outside. Was I actually afraid? Afraid that I couldn't shoulder this heavy responsibility? Thinking of this, Lam Thon Tuyet suddenly stood on her tiptoes, gently kissed my cheek, and then suddenly let me go. She pretended not to care and said, "Go back to where you are needed." I was slightly dazed. So, we're not going to the amusement park today? Lam Thon Tuyet smiled. Silly. Between us, there is still so much time to go to the amusement park. What's the difference between going today or next? Time anyway? Lam Thon Tuyet took my hand. Even though I don't really understand what you guys are doing, haven't you always done so well in the past? You must always believe that you aren't just my own personal son. In your abilities, you can be the sun for so many more people. Of course, you can shine your light on everyone. But, in your heart, You're only allowed to have one girl, me. See, when it comes to this, I'm still pretty selfish. Then, Lam Thon Tuyet looked at me, a deep sense of admiration shining in her eyes. I will always believe that the man I love will forever be a hero, who shakes the world, wearing golden armor and stepping on 5-colored clouds, proudly, standing tall in this world, knowing no fear. My eyes softened, and I gently squeezed Lam Thon Tuyet's small hand, my gaze slowly turning resolute, standing proudly against the world, a fearless, world-shaking hero. Can I really do that? Maybe I can. 1 hour later, a military helicopter quickly took off from the front of the laboratory at Capital University. At the school's sports stadium, Lam Thon Tuyet sat dazed on the grass, watching the helicopter as it faded into the distance. After a long silence, she suddenly couldn't help but chuckle. This is the real, pure, so tu vu. I hope the boy I love the absolute most will be shielded from all evil. May you stay safe and sound in everything. I'll be waiting for you at school. MacBack, the secret research base for 7th-generation aerospace engines. Inside, the massive underground testing ground. At the center of the giant circular structure was not a traditional engine prototype, but a strange force field, emitting a mystical blue glow that constantly warped the surrounding light. Inside, the force field, the faint silhouette of a miniature aircraft could be seen. So Tiovu stood in front of the main control panel, data cascading down the screen. Like a waterfall, the culmination of his hard work over the past several months. Diep Kien, Kwok, Vuong Vedan, Luke Du, and the senior members from the Academy of Sciences and the Academy of Engineering stood behind him, holding their breath. Their eyes were locked onto the core area, in the center of the field. Activate Universal Drive Prototype Number 1. Initiate Level 1 Thrust Test. Within that warped space, the miniature prototype didn't rely on its own propulsion at all, but instead glided along the warped space. Successful. It began to slowly slide forward. In a way that went completely against common sense, the speed readings began to skyrocket. Although the initial speed was not mind-blowing, this was not acceleration generated by conventional thrust, but space itself was carrying the aircraft along. The entire control center erupted in deafening cheers, and many white-haired veteran experts hugged each other tightly. Well done, young man. You have once again achieved great merit for our country and our people. This is an epoch-making breakthrough. He looked at the stable data on the screen and the dreamlike scene in the center. A relieved smile appeared on his face, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. But deep in his eyes, there was a subtle, hard-to-notice solemnity. At the same time, in the study room of the Financial Management Department at Capital University, Lin Ching Sui had just finished an advanced finance theory class. She walked along the tree-shaded path back to her dormitory. The autumn sunlight filtered through the yellowing ginkgo leaves, casting dappled spots of light, when her phone buzzed. Her phone screen displayed an incoming message from a special encrypted channel. The phase task is complete. Everything is fine. Our simple promise is always in my heart. The return date is uncertain, but my heart is already back with you. The corners of Lin Qingshui's mouth curled up involuntarily into a radiant smile. She looked up at the deep, vast blue sky to the north, where the faint white trail of a plane was slowly drifting away. However, beneath the calm surface, undercurrents were surging. That very night, Xiao Wu's team celebrated their initial success. A highly encrypted urgent intelligence report was sent to his temporary office. The situation is more complicated than we imagined. This has gone beyond the scope of simple scientific research competition and shows clear signs of unnatural interference. I nodded, a sharp light flashing in my eyes. I knew that in the days to come, my time would be split in two. During the day, I immersed myself in optimizing the warp drive theory and planning the next experiment. At night, I led my elite team through the massive amount of information in the Eternal Library of Knowledge, searching for any clues related to that mysterious gene segment. Lin Qingshui keenly noticed the exhaustion and pressure I was hiding. She didn't ask too many questions, but silently sent me local specialties from back home and shared interesting stories from school through video calls. The turning point came late one night, in the Eternal Library of Knowledge. In an extremely obscure category, I discovered a record of a long-lost ancient civilization. That civilization documented something they called the primordial source code, the basic unit of information of the universe. Amazingly, Certain segments of that mysterious gene sequence had an incredible mathematical similarity to a decayed or fragmented form of the primordial source code, showing an incredible mathematical homomorphism. I reported this to Ye Jiangguo and higher authorities. We must stop them. Letting this kind of power spiral out of control could disrupt local physical laws and even trigger unpredictable spatio-temporal disasters. A silent war without gunfire had quietly begun. The highest command authorized Xiao Wu, in times of need, to deploy a portion of the spatial technology and of the Huanwu project, in coordination with the relevant departments, to carry out an infiltration and gather intelligence at the target laboratory, eliminating them if necessary. Capital University had entered its final exam season. Lam Than Tuyet buried herself in the library to study and prepare for an important major exam. As she rubbed her weary eyes and packed up her books to leave, she noticed a missed call and a text message on her phone, both from Tuvu's encrypted number. The message had only 2 words: return immediately. Lam Than Tuyet immediately called back, but the system reported that it could not connect. She practically ran back to her dorm to open her computer, trying to search for clues in the news. International news was still completely quiet, but on some tech forums and social media, vague rumors had begun to spread. There was an abnormal geological phenomenon in a remote area, accompanied by short but powerful electromagnetic surges. Some witnesses claimed to have seen twisted bands of light appearing in the sky. The atmosphere at the Mabe base was tense to the extreme. I wore a custom protective suit, standing inside the cockpit of the upgraded Huanwu 1. Diep Qian Kwok instructed over the radio, his voice carrying an anxiety that was hard to hide. Tu Vu, be extremely careful. Just transmit the data back. Safety is the top priority. Roger, I will deliver the gift right on time. The purplish-blue warp flash appeared again. Huanwu 1 silently slipped into warped space, accelerating and rushing toward the target area, thousands of miles away. It detected a high-intensity biological energy field and target space-time fluctuations. The target was trying to open a wormhole and then stabilize it. I dropped the gift, an unremarkable device that detached from the ship and fell toward the target. The moment it approached the mass of flesh, the device activated, releasing a powerful directed energy pulse. That creature of flesh and blood let out a silent, shrill laugh, convulsing violently. The warped space around it began to fluctuate wildly like water. An unexpected event occurred. That mass of flesh suddenly shot a blast of green, dreadful energy directly at Huanwu 1. Even though I tried to dodge, the ship was still grazed. The flank alarm blared instantly. The cockpit shield was damaged, and the right engine's power dropped. With the warp field becoming unstable, I felt a cold mental shockwave striking directly at my consciousness, filled with desires for violence and destruction. The eternal knowledge base automatically ran, forming an invisible mental barrier on the outskirts of my consciousness, blocking this attack. However, the intense mental confrontation left me dazed. I focused all my mental energy, holding nothing back, directing most of Huanwu 1's reserve energy into the warp engine, creating a local warped space that was much stronger, like a giant invisible hand slamming down on the struggling mass of flesh below, along with the heavily scarred laboratory below. It was not an explosion, but a kind of space being forcibly flattened, creating a low, heavy rumble. The glow below, the warped space, and that terrifying creature vanished without a trace, in an instant, leaving behind a completely flattened area, like a valley, plowed through by a giant blade. 1 week later, by Wyoming Lake at Capital University, I and Lam Than Tuyet sat shoulder to shoulder on a lakeside bench. The sunset painted the horizon in soft hues, casting a warm light over our peaceful moment. As the lake turned a shimmering gold, my face was still a little pale. Lin Qing Shui gently leaned against my shoulder and took my chilly hand. "I'm just glad you're back," she murmured. Her voice carried the relief of someone who had just survived a disaster. Whispering, she said, "You promised me you wouldn't just disappear without warning again." Lin Qing Sui looked up, staring into my eyes, her expression earnest. "Xiao Yu, I know what you're doing is very important and probably very dangerous. Maybe I can't fully understand it all. Music. But you must always remember one thing. No matter how high or how far you fly, this place will always be your anchor. I might not be able to fight by your side, so I will stay right here, keeping a light burning for you until you come home. I wrapped my arms around her, holding Lin Qingshu tightly. My gaze met hers, her eyes shimmering like gentle waves. This world is far bigger than we ever imagined, and much more complicated. There is light, but there is also an endless, deep darkness. Is greater than, music is greater than, the path I've chosen is destined to be, filled with unknowns and challenges. But because I have someone to protect, someone as wonderful as you in my life, I find the strength to face that darkness. I turn to look deep into Lin Qingshui's eyes. Once this is all over, I'll take you to see the fireworks. And not just at Zhuangyuanzhou. Maybe somewhere where we can see the very curvature of the earth. Lin Qingshui froze for a moment. Then, tears of wonder and disbelief welled up in her eyes. She nodded vigorously. Okay, I'll wait for you. As night gradually fell, the campus streetlights began to flicker on, one by one. The two leaned against each other on the bench, lost in a warm silence. The story of Su Xiaoyu and Lin Qingshu, of humanity's journey through the vast sea of stars, and the trials they would face in the boundless universe, had only just turned to a new chapter. Their destinies were now inextricably bound together,